I want to introduce myself. My name is Davey. I'm the Odin support for Nightly Koalas, and this is going to be my first ever set I'm going to be broadcasting for you guys. The game, of course, is going to be the Banana Clan versus the Overlords in the Loki division. Unfortunately, my chair 2 is missing in action right now, probably sweating, playing Tsukiyomi solo. So currently, I am going to be your chair 1 and chair 2, and I'm really excited for this game because I feel like in terms of the Loki division, we have Banana Clan and Overlords who are both that 0-3. They're both aching for their first one, but there are a lot of really recognizable faces on both teams and both very talented players. I mean, think of Banana Clan, you have Shadows Woe and Wabhi Sahbi, and then if you think of Overlords, you have Jolly Green and Freaky. So I'm really excited how this first game is going to go and how their own individual metas are going to dictate how they're going to play the map, specifically where the pressure is going to come from Shadows Woe, from Banana Clan, and then Cuddly. So I'm curious to see where they're going to focus on as we get started with our picks and bans. So I'm predicting that we're going to see some more traditional bans. You know, the Athena, your Tia, Gyoga maybe, but you know there might be an opportunity for a sort of high tier pick to kind of sneak in. Like I've been seeing a lot of Gilgamesh kind of sneaking into ranked and sneaking into a bunch of games. So just kind of excited to see where the picks and bans start, as well as how many support picks are going to be up. Are they going to look to still ban Chiron? Is Ymir, Sobek, even Yamoja going to be looked to ban? And of course, just to reiterate as well that Persephone and Morgan Le Fay are still comp banned, so there's no point in banning that as we get our first ban in, which is the Cullen, which is a really strong solo pick. I would argue probably one of the best solo pick, if not number 2, next to Gilgamesh. The Athena comes out for the Overlord, so a very traditional ban. And see if maybe Banana Clan has something in mind against Freaky going after that Kukulin, so I'm curious to see where the second ban's going to deviate towards. The Soul, again, kind of a very traditional ban, so it is kind of it's definitely tuning out to be something interesting. I mean, there's 3 bans left, and there's no Tia ban, there's no Gilga ban, no Ymir, no Sobek. There's a set ban, so if Banana Clan play this correctly in their picks and bans, they could definitely look for one of these really, really powerful, really strong gods here. So I have a feeling that in comms right now, they're thinking, okay, what happens if we ban Sobek or we ban Ymir? Or maybe we ban out another Freaky god. I'm just kind of waiting patiently here. It's kind of difficult to do picks and bans by the self, so just trying to enjoy it. And there's the Gilga ban. So Overlord should definitely look to pivot their last ban towards Tiamat, and then just to ensure that Banana Clan does not get it, unless they're certain that their mid laner DetachedData doesn't have a Tiamat, and they might have seen this through maybe scrimming, or they might know them personally. So this is kind of interesting that how much levels of actual awareness do they know, and they don't elect to ban the Tiamat, instead the Chiron, and the insta lock from DetachedData to the Tiamat. Aching and probably very, very happy to get that from Banana Clan. And now how are Overlords gonna respond to this? They're hovering a Merlin, which is a sort of interesting pick into it. I would like to see something a bit more lockdowny in terms of their support. So I would like to see a support pick here. Maybe again a Ymir. There it is. So a Ymir. I find that Ymir, it's a good pick into the Tiamat. It's good at locking her down. Although there are some weaknesses, it's not traditionally the worst thing. And also Ymir is just an overall great pick into whatever Banana Clan might be choosing next. So now that Banana Clan know that there's a Ymir and Merlin locked in, they could look towards something that could give Ymir and Merlin a bit more trouble. I think of Ganesh right away, because Ganesh can break the Ymir wall, can silence Merlin out of his flicker. But you know, you still have a lot of things open here, especially for ADC. I mean, you have Artemis still open, Danzaburo is still open, your junglers are open. Tsukiyomi is also a great pick here into the Merlin as well. So I'm curious to see where Banana Clan's gonna take this third pick. So now that they lock in the Danzaburo and then they look towards Kepri, which is another great sort of get off me option to peel out the Tiamat, and then the Thanatos insta lock coming in for Overlords. It's just like Cuddly really, really wanted to play it, and now it just sees the Kepri and just super happy about it. I really like the Thanatos pick here. I think it does well into the Kepri, but I think that the Danzaburo matchup against Thanatos is not the greatest because it can cause a lot of confusion with the Thanatos. So I think Overlords needs to pick out a really good ADC here that has super consistent damage. Now that the On Her is bound out, I would like to see maybe an Artemis. Artemis is seeing a lot more play. There's a Tsukuyomi and Tier ban, which I like the Tsukuyomi ban a lot because it's both a flex for the solo and the jungle. And now sort of the positions towards Overlords as to what they want to do. Banana Clan is reinforced. You have one execute. You're definitely not getting another with the Achilles ban. I don't really think double execute is very good, but I kind of respect where they're going with that. As the Chernobog is being hovered, I think Chernobog is a decent pick here, but I still would have liked to see something a bit more teamfight oriented besides the global. I think that the Thanatos global in itself is good, but I think the Chernobog is okay, but I still would have liked to see an Artemis. The Wukong for Banana Clan, a very consistent pick, just great at doing basically everything, a good lane bully as well. So now Overlords now know what their matchup is in the solo, so they can pick around it. As we wait for what seems to be the jungle pick from Banana Clan. Pele would be fine here. Ao Kwang, the Ao Kwang hover. Wow, that's interesting. I'm not a hater of the Ao Kwang. I love Ao Kwang. I think he's kind of sick. I think he's really good into Ymir because he just absolutely melts Ymir. I think it's dangerous into the Overlord draft because with the flicker and with the Chernobog into with his ult and his 3 and his wall, I think it can be a little sort of dangerous to pick the Ao Kwang here because there's not a lot of lockdown on Banana Clan. I mean, they have a lot of damage, but what's really lacking is their CC. And then the Odin hover for Overlords is actually really good. Personally, I think it's very good into the Danzaburo and the Summerkong, but I don't think it has enough lockdown for the Tiamat. So let's see how these team fights go. So you have a distinct lack of CC coming from Banana Clan. You have the Kepri pull, you have the Ox Stun for Summerkong, you have slows coming from the Danzaburo and also from the Ao Kwang. But I mean, if Danzaburo taunts you, that's also something, but it shouldn't happen. And then another slow from Tia. The hard CC coming from that is extremely lacking. I mean, the Kepri does have the pull option and the root option, but I would have much preferred to see a more CC oriented pick for Banana Clan here. Maybe a Hunbats, maybe a Pele, but none of that matters as we walk into the game now. And I want to see how traditional these starts are. I feel like currently starts are kind of going back and forth, basically, where supports don't really know whether they should start at green, whether they should start at purple. And personally, I really like the purple start because I really like lane pressure right away. I think the lane pressure is super important in ADC lane. But if you can play a passive lane while still not negating any of your farm, I think that's a really great option. And I think Rune buff is really good, especially in the early game. I think it is definitely a deciding factor in some of these skirmishes in the dual lane. Now that we have sort of our picks lined out, I have a feeling that Overlords might sort of win this early game with the Thanatos, but the late game is really going to be decided on how the positioning of this Ao Kwang is going to face with the backline. How fast can Ao Kwang melt the backline so that Freaky and Polly are just out of the fight, and then Lone Wolf is just stuck on their own self. As we do have a pause coming in, which seems to be a pause, so I get to talk more. DetachedData is not going to be playing mid today. They're actually looking at support now with their sub Luke the Duke coming in for mid lane, as well as wabhi is playing ADC when they usually play. Wow, this is really confusing. So on their roster, it says solo and ADC, and I guess they decided to roster swap. Maybe they're feeling more comfortable. And then you have Overlords, which is all looking good. I mean, you have CuddlyOso and solo. Freaky is playing ADC now. Jolly is now the support. Man, this is not it. This is not it, huh? Anyway, it don't matter. What matters is how is Overlords with the Odin? How far dive can that get to stop the Tiamat's damage? Because I feel like the Tiamat is kind of this factor of, okay, well, they're gonna dive to Tiamat. The Aquan goes in the back. How long can Tiamat live with the mitigations and everything? How long can they live to ensure the fact that the Alquan ganks can be successful? And personally, I think Tiamat's going to live for a really long time here with the Kepri res and with the amount of dive that's coming out from Banana Clan. Honestly, I kind of feel like each individual team has their own benefits to the draft, but I have a feeling that this game is really on the shoulders of UndrclasHero. I mean, when you pick an Alquan, it's kind of the responsibility of you to really perform, because if this Alquan doesn't perform, it's over. It's just done. We have a. I think it looks fine. Really?
Hold on to these for me!
As night returns.
Check this thing. Oh yeah, what the fuck?
Who doesn't want more money?
You got it? Okay. Are you sure? It still looks the same on the stream for me. Yeah. I think that's the play. Oh, it works. It's good. Oh yeah, it works on stream too. It's good on stream. All right. Now that we're back, we're chilling.
Seek them out.
Okay. All right. So now that we have there was a little bit of a ADC aggression coming. It looks like a pretty traditional start. I mean, there is a little bit of a lead coming from the Thanatos because of the hyper farming, but he decides to pick up a Mannequin Scepter, which is interestingly enough. I mean, usually for me, I like picking up either jungle on Thanatos because I think it's really good, or the AA cancels that can come from Boomer's Hammer. But I think Mannequins is actually pretty good, but I think Thanatos really excels at early clear. So I don't really think that Mannequins is necessarily the biggest necessity, but I kind of like where it's going. I mean, Mannequin's Hidden Blade is competitively banned now, so hopefully they don't pick that up. But you know, we're gonna see as the Tiamat picks up the Vamp Shroud, Merlin with the Sands of Time. So overall, just a very traditional start. Both supports getting horrific emblems instead of Sunder or no beads or anything like a shell or anything like that, which I think is pretty interesting. I think that it benefits Banana Clan a little bit more than Overlords, because I find that, you know, Overlords, they can there's a lot of, actually I take it back, it actually benefits Overlords more, because if they horrific the Thanatos 2 is immune to slows. It may damage the Merlin with the flicker, but overall it's actually not, it's definitely not the worst recognition for both teams. That it's a good item, and I think horrific is definitely sort of an underutilized item.
Blazing energy.
And it's a very sort of slow start from both teams. I mean, there's a barely any gold disparity at all. It's just a very quiet start to the game. I would like to see once both junglers hit 5, the pace of the game is going to be significantly different, especially for the Thanatos. Once Thanatos hits that ult, I want to be seeing a lot of ganks, especially with the blink. As nope, it's just more mid pressure, which is just perfectly fine. I mean, try to get rid of any farm that the Alquan can have, or any ability for them to power farm, especially with the Tiamat. There is a good balance of I was just thinking in my own head, that is there a good balance of physical and magical? And yeah, there is. As we see Jolly Green, what I believe going for the Gauntlet of Thebes. I hope DetachedData goes for it, but there is a lot of conversation and support. Is there a way that you can resolve, or should you even get like Thebes in the first place, as we have a pause coming in? And I think Thebes is just so valued as an item. I mean, it's 50 protections from both things. I mean, it takes a little bit to stack, but I found without the boots now, it's way easier to get, way easier to stack, just so much more powerful. And I just think that it outclasses any aura item it has, especially because it gives that 20 protections as an aura as well, which is, I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but it's actually super valuable. You have the Wukong going for the Soul Eater, which, you know, very traditional for the Wukong. And I'm curious to see how UndrclasHero is going to build this Alquang, but I think he's going for a Bancroft's Talon, or even a Bancroft's Talon, yeah, that's right, or even a Typhon's Fang first. I am curious to see is he going to prioritize the Telekines, maybe Hokate or Demonic Grip, or is he going to maybe look for a true burst sort of Magi's, Spear of the Magus, maybe Spear of Desolation? Like, how much penetration is he going to put into this build? And as well, Luke the Duke has a hidden staff. Is he going to look for an ethereal staff, which I really think ethereal staff is a super underutilized item. I think it's an incredibly strong and powerful item that actually has a lot of merit with a lot of gods, especially when you combine E staff and Soul Eater together. The amount of just flat health pen that you get is insane. You melt tanks so fast in the late game, and especially on a god like Tiamat that has a lot of abilities to melt these tanks with the Tornado and the One Breath and the minions that they could summon, like the Minotaur. I find that E staff and Soul Eater in conjunction with the Tiamat is a really great idea. It should be very strong. As we still have our pause going out here, which, you know, it's kind of sucky, but, you know, it's not Smite without a pause. I am hoping to see a lot of more aggression coming from the Thanatos, especially because when you draft a Chernobog, and I find that this is essential for a lot of teams, is when you draft globals, you have to play around globals. And I know that obviously sounds like it makes sense, but think about times that you're playing ranked or you're playing a game, and they draft Ratatasker or they draft a Thor, and they're not ganking, or they draft a Chernobog, and Chernobog barely ults unless it's like very late game and they're split pushing, just like an Apollo. I want to see Overlords really play their global strength of with the Thanatos and the Chernobog for these early game team fights around Gorp and Forp and Gold Fury. Because I feel like if they can play it like that, it's gonna be really great for sort of snowballing the lead as the game finally does resume. And overall, it's just a little. It's basically in parity. I mean, Overlords has a minute gold lead, but there is a sort of like, as you can see to the XP per minute, the Ao Kuang is just seems like the lack of mid pressure that he has is actually affecting his ability to farm. As finally, Jolly Green is now backing, getting the Thebes, and Luke the Duke decides to pick up the Warlock staff instead of the E staff. What I think it's fine. I mean, it definitely could be worse. It could be Gem of Isolation, but I mean now I think that Overlords have to recognize that Luke Duke is going to be very tanky, and they are going to need Health Shred, whether it be a Chin Size or whether it be Soul Reaver, and E staff. But I think that this Warlock staff, it might benefit him, because think about all the dive that they're going to have to do, and think about how Ao Kuang is going to get into these team fights, as we do see sort of a 3-man rotation coming towards mid, although DetachedData is in mid. Jolly Green goes for the freeze, unfortunately misses. It's DetachedData sort of peering around trying to see the pull. Nothing comes of it, as in solo lane we have Odin very low against the Sun Wukong. Odin has to use the ult, the shield comes out, Master's Will comes out, and that's it. Ayyfoo gets first blood against CuddlyOso. I mean, we just see the scrapings of it, but this is what happens when a Sun Wukong has a Soul Reaver. I mean, the sustain is incredible. Lone Wolf taking a lot of damage. Luke the Duke really pulling it out. Ayyfoo at the side uses the Ox form. Lone Wolf is trying to go into the ult, doesn't unfortunately get it. Now they're looking at Jolly Green. Can DetachedData get a pull? No, it does not. The great wall coming from Jolly Green and a jump in from Luke the Duke. But nothing comes of it, as now the Ao Kuang is sort of just brushing around, seeing if they could find anything, and he looks at Gorp, and that's a free Gorp for Banana Clan. Well done by Banana Clan to find good recognition. A great rotation from Ayyfoo. Again, instead of backing, says, oh, I think we can get Thanatos. And unfortunately, it's just a little bit of weird positioning from Lone Wolf. Going for a Golden Blade with the Mannequin Scepter, I think it's just way too much early clear. I mean, you're basically hindering your power spike. Jolly Green going for the freeze, doesn't get it. DetachedData does get the pull in. UndrclasHero looking for the slow on Jolly Green, doesn't get it, unfortunately, and that's the end of that, with Luke the Duke with no mana as well. Now that everything is slowly coming to normal, the farm is on the map, blue and purple are up, and now it looks like everything's sort of coming back to normal. DetachedData is looking for something. The Chernobog does ult the Danzaburo just to get the farm. Ooh, that could have been sneakily an interesting fight, but now he just wants to farm. But I mean, I don't want Freaky to use that ult all the time. I mean, he could have used the ult in the team fight before. Maybe look to see, okay, we act like we're overextending, but here comes Freaky, and here comes the ability to get a kill. Look at all the stacking items coming from Banana Clan. You have a Soul Eater, a Warlock Sash, a Thebes, and a Devourer's Gauntlet coming out. Well, Freaky going for the more recognizable build currently, which is the bow build. So the Ichabod, the Oboe, the Silver Branch. And I think Silver Branch on Chernobog is insane. I think it's so good. It's just as good as getting Silver Branch on Artemis, because that too is mean on Chernobog. That AS stem that you get is just mean. Here comes Ymir coming into the mid lane. Polyduke's trying to do as much damage as Luke Duke, but Tiamat has such a great clear, and Thanatos just getting the oracles. There is a 4-man sort of splitting, but unfortunately now it goes to 3-man in the mid lane, as they maybe look for Luke Duke. Slowed by the Merlin damage. Jolly Green does unfortunately get a bad wall. UndrclasHero looking at Jolly Green, doing a lot of damage, goes into the ult, gets silenced by the Thanatos, so does get the execute, finally finds the execute. Thanatos in the air right now, maybe looking at Luke the Duke, does find it. The Kepriel does come out, the Odin Wall is around. Luke the Duke is very low, does die, while DetachedData does get the res. Lone Wolf very low right now, so is CuddlyOso, gets knocked back from the Tiamat Tornado, and Ayyfoo has made his way in. He's looking at CuddlyOso, blinks in, doesn't unfortunately get it, switches targets to Polydeuce. Ayyfoo goes right into the ult, looking at CuddlyOso, does manage to find the damage, while UndrclasHero and DetachedData do get the damage onto Polydeuce, and Freaky's ult does come out. Now he's looking to rotate on the Ao Kuang. He is quite low on mana, but UndrclasHero could be in a bit of trouble, but unfortunately Freaky's a little too late on the ult, and that's because he used the ult before to try and not lose his mid wave. Maybe if he didn't use the ult, it would have been way different, as now Go Fury has started. They do have Oracle, so they are aware of this. Jolly Green coming in. I don't know if they can do this, and they decide to go against it. Go against their own call. Looking at Jolly Green, DetachedData is now extending just a little bit, looking for a root, does get it, and now it looks like Luke the Duke just getting his red buff and calmly resetting. I think Luke the Duke has done very well so far. I mean, this is kind of why you cannot let teams pick out Tiamat. It's because look how much she's doing. She's doing so much damage. And also, a great res from DetachedData. I mean, that fight would have went so much differently if DetachedData didn't get a very nice res onto the Tiamat, and Ayyfoo, again, with a really great rotation, trusting his team to live when they're getting dived, and then is just able to clean the show, as well as able to kill CuddlyOso while his team is yelling at him that they could kill Lone Wolf. Now, CuddlyOso kind of looking towards them. They decide to call it off as Midwave is now pushing in. There's a Dancerboro rocket onto Freaky. Freaky's in a lot of trouble right now, but is winning the basic attack for right now. Thanatos is in the ultimate. But as Dancerboro's kind of geeking around right now, and unfortunately, that's the end of that. Freaky almost in a really bad spot. Jolly Green is looking towards it, but does not know that UndrclasHero is around. Does unfortunately miss the wall. UndrclasHero does get in the res. Looking at damage at Jolly Green. Jolly Green's not really doing anything. Pops is horrific. The root coming out from DetachedData as Jolly Green is losing more and more health. Does get pulled in, but how much damage can UndrclasHero get? He does have the ultimate for the execute. Does find the threshold for the execute and finds it. Lone Wolf blinks in. Doesn't find literally anything. DetachedData pinging Lone Wolf. He wants to go on this. UndrclasHero does find it. A good silence coming out from Lone Wolf, but you literally can't do that. Freaky Chernobog ults in, finds the root onto DetachedData, does do a lot of damage. DetachedData does find the horrific to try to peel away himself and UndrclasHero. And God, I can't breathe. That fight went for so damn long. It was a great fight from Underclass and DetachedData. Good communication from them, good pings coming out from them. They waited a while in the Ao Kuang waited a while in the ult, but I'm sure was just trying to prep himself, and Freaky, unfortunately, with again a little bit of a late ult. And you know, when you have late ults like that, you just, what do you expect? You're there when the fight ends. And a good horrific coming out from the Kepri. As you can see, there is now a gold sort of lead, sort of ballooning now, where, you know, the Gold Fury still isn't taking, and there is a 1.5 gold lead on the bar. But honestly, with 8 kills in, that's not the worst idea for Overlords. I mean, they can come back from this. It's 8 kills, 1.5. That's truly not the worst. I mean, now it's 1.9, so it's pretty bad, but it could definitely be worse right now. I do think that Overlord, this isn't a stomp. Overlords definitely do have an ability to get in, but Jolly Green needs to find these walls. He needs to find these freezes, and Lone Wolf needs to stop. Lone Wolf and Freaky needs to stop looking for individual plays and start playing with their team. We have CuddlyOso backing, so a free wave for Ayyfoo. And, you know, now that the game is back in parity, I would like to see Banana Clan with their lead sort of look towards a red buff steal, a Gold Fury start, a good pluck from DetachedData. Merlin is trying to burn them as much as he can, and Luke the Duke does take a lot of damage. The tornado does come out. CuddlyOso does get the ring out, and that's the end of that fight in there, as wabhi sahbi does manage to get the the wall from Freaky. UndrclasHero does find a kill into Lone Wolf as there is a prolonged engagement coming from that. Jolly Green does manage to wall up the Donzabur. Merlin switches form to the ice, but he's in a lot of trouble getting dived right now. The team fight is split. Sahbi wabhi on UndrclasHero. Polydeuces does manage to get out. Luke the Duke does find Freaky, who is overextended and was already insanely low and shouldn't have stayed as they look towards the Go Fury. Polydeuces is all the way in the Phoenix in fear that he might get dived on, and now Go Fury is getting started, and it's very easily and convincingly going to Banana Clan, where it's ballooning their lead forward. We were just talking about the fact that it was a 1.9 lead. It could be worse. It couldn't be, you know, you could be trying, but you could try to get back in and remain in parity, but now it's a 4K gold lead. This is an insane ballooning coming out from Banana Clan now, and right now Banana Clan is 0-3 in the standings, and they certainly don't look like it. I mean, same as Overlord, but Banana Clan is sort of really doing a great job at it, as Freaky does ult in mid. Is gonna get taunted by Wabi Sabi Saki, but does use the beads, dashes out. Jolly Green now looking towards the end, does find a good wall into DetachedData, does freeze DetachedData, but there's no follow-up from Freaky, who's too busy looking at the wave as Overlords do find the Pyromancer. What's up, Desta?
Yes. Hello. I saw you casting alone. I've come here to help since seems like a lot to cast again by yourself. Hello, everybody in the chat. Desta was great. All right, what's wrong?
Oh, I can finally drink water.
Drink some water. You can continue to be chair one and talk while the action's going. I'll try to talk a little bit in between.
Go for it.
Stuff's a little different. But yeah, as you said, right now we have a good old lead over on Banana Clan here. Definitely looking for some items up. Now that they have that gold fury, a lot of pressure when they're able to back and grab these items up. We should start to see some of these towers falls, I imagine. They're probably going to be looking to get their XP and gold up here and potentially look for a fire as soon as that becomes available.
I think that fire is definitely on the mind, but I'm worried that Banana Clan might think it's a little early for a fire giant. I mean, we're only 16 minutes in the game, and the lead is already so big for Banana Clan now. I think Banana Clan may want to remain in parity for a bit, look towards another Gold Fury, and then maybe go for fires. We have UndrclasHero looking for a rotation, and unfortunately nothing comes of it.
Yeah, for sure. And with the towers being a little whittled down, I can imagine maybe they make a push to get that left T1, just get a little bit of that global gold and XP up on the map. But for now, it's definitely fine for them to just sit around, farm up, make sure to get some, just push that golden XP lead, maybe possibly look for some invades, a little bit of small victories across the map, just make sure that they enforce their lead. And by the time these big objectives come up, get that disparity a little bit more and start looking towards something big here.
And with Overlord, it's sort of like a global ultimate pressure that they have. I want to see Banana Clan really start to rotate as almost a death ball, basically 4 or 5 man, as Freaky is looking for a kill onto Wabi Sabi. Does dash in, but doesn't find anything. Wabi's using his 3 to absolutely frag Freaky. Now in mid lane we have more action coming from Jolly, and nothing comes of that, but really well played by Wabi, and poor judgment coming from Freaky to dash in and think that he could get him. I mean, Wabi does have the rage. He has the Ickable to counter Freaky's Ickable, so unfortunately just a bit of poor judgment coming from Freaky.
Absolutely, that down to 4-3 giving him a lot right there.
And now
making that 1v1 almost impossible.
we have now CuddlyOso's in a lot of trouble. If you look, UndrclasHero is looking to rotate, but does find his blue. CuddlyOso going for the intelligent play and just saying, hey, you know what? You can have my blue. That's chill. That's fine. And this is exactly what I was...
5-man grouping over,
yeah,
right?
This is exactly what I was wanting. This is what I wanted. Banana Clan rotating as 5 people to counteract the nature of Overlords. Lobo says, Peppery looks for the pull onto Ymir, doesn't find it. UndrclasHero is behind that. There's 2 fights going on, but Lone Wolf gets absolutely fragged by Luke the Duke. This is why Tiamat, I don't know why they let Tiamat in, but they did. Jolly Green does manage to get the horrific emblem, but doesn't find it. The big freeze from Jolly Green does find 3. UndrclasHero is in a little bit of trouble, looking to execute as much as he can. Polydeuce does find the Aegis. Freaky, not even near the fight, goes to the other fight. Luke the Duke manages to get Oh my god, I forgot who. Polydeuce, as Freaky's now in a lot of trouble, goes to the other fight that was already lost. Ayyfoo and wabhi Sabi looking for Freaky. They do manage to get it. Jolly Green does manage to remain the only survivor, as I have no idea in what world Freaky goes to that fight instead of the fight where they were almost winning.
Blazing energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And what just a scrappy engagement that took place there. We had essentially two different team fights going on at the same time, and Banana pushing their lead. They win on both ends, and now that 3 people are dead, this should be a relatively free player. Thanatos is going to look for the engage here.
Looking for it. I mean, he's like being patient. Does get the execute onto him. Overlords do steal away the fire giant. Well done by
my
Wolf.
god.
Well
What
done.
Absolute miracle play. Comes in, gets immediate execute, and manages to steal that one away. It's just an absolutely great individual play that realistically, that might be able to keep him in there. Mind you, it's still 17-1. There's still about a 7k gold lead on the other end here, or my bad, 5.5k, and it doesn't look great, but that can keep them in the game a little bit longer as they try to get to these late game team fight stage. What a play right there. Fantastic execute, gets in, just a little bit off on the secure from the Banana Clan. Maybe panicking a little bit with that Thanatos getting that execute. They just weren't quite ready to essentially have any resistance at all with the amount of lead that they had, but they are going to reconvene a little bit, show up for this Gold Fury, make sure that they don't completely lose out. But yeah, fantastic for Overlords now. They have a little bit of time to just try to hunker down and farm. They don't have great siege potential on Banana Clan anymore due to that FG being down.
And actually, it's less about the fact that they get fire, and it's more about the fact that they stagnate Banana Clan by a few minutes. Like, they can't do anything with this fire giant. I mean, Jolly's the only one that has it, but the fact that they can stagnate Banana Clan by just a minute or two is a minute or two more that they can get back into this game and they can turn it around. And I think that's what was really great about Lone Wolf's play, is that, you know, it's a Hail Mary, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's still okay, as Freaky does look for the ult. Detached Data is frozen right now. Freaky looking to fully commit on Detached Data. He dashes out. UndrclasHero dashes in. Lone Wolf is in a lot of trouble right now. Does get fragged by Luke the Duke, as UndrclasHero is trying to bully up Freaky as much as he can. Is at half health right now. A big wall coming out from the Ymir. Freaky's in a lot of trouble right now. Luke the Duke does get the ultimate, and now there's a lot more dive coming from the backline. A great rest coming from Detached Data. The Kepri really putting in a lot of work for Luke the Duke, as CuddlyOso is now in a lot of trouble. Does get the execute, and now UndrclasHero is looking for as much as he can, as wabhi Sabi wasn't even in the fight. He's literally chilling in left lane. God. Damn.
Right on the mental of Banana Clan there. They see, obviously it can be a little bit of a tilter, a little bit of a heartbreaker when you have an FG feel like that. Definitely can affect their mental, but they brush it off, say whatever. They see a fight that's good and right. They see them pulling the Firemancer, and they go, hey, you might have gotten fire, but we still have a lead everywhere. You guys can't be pulling objectives like this, and they just make sure to get in there and cause some chaos, and, you know, right back where they were. I mean, it's 20-1. They still in a fantastic spot. Definitely just a great play to not let that FG steal get to them and keep up their aggression, realizing they still have this lead, and invade on the red buff now. And left tower was secured, as you said. wabhi that whole time just pushing up left, able to get that T2, so they effectively won a 4v5 over on the right side, and that just goes to show the amount of gold and XP deficit that they really are on in Overlords, where they can't even win these fights.
And that Detached Data got stunned, and never mind. Please continue. I thought something more was going to come out of that, but I guess not.
I thought so too, a little bit more happened, but that's a big tanky bug. Not a ton going to be able to come off of the back end of that.
I really think Detached Data has had a lot of value too in this game. Like, this is the second time that Tiamat has been dove, and this is the second time that he's been rezzed. Think how big it would be for Overlords to kill the Tiamat once, or think how big to kill the Tiamat twice. And you can't, and you can't do it. You just can't do it. Detached Data has these great ultimates coming out, just whittling the needle, finding Luke the Duke in it, and now Ayyfoo trying to get aggressive onto Jolly Green, who might be a little bit out of position. Luke the Duke is here, looking to melt down Jolly Green. Does a holy crap, tons of damage, but Unfortunately, they don't commit to it. And Jolly Green walls himself up. Huge wall coming from Jolly. And now it looks like we're back into the 5v5 fight that we're kind of used to. What's scary about it now is that the more that Overlord said to delay this fight, the more time Freaky has to get these free gold caches and the towers in left. But Overlords have to play this really intelligently now. They have to both make face for this fire, but also not commit at the same time, which is what CuddlyOso is doing right now. He's sort of pushing up a little bit, but not doing a lot. As they are going to find a Pinzer onto the Merlin right now. Polyduke 17 in a lot of trouble. Luke the Duke does get kind of pooped on a little bit. Freaky is now ulting in. DetachedData does find the kill onto Wolf. To Lone Wolf, and now Ayyfoo diving the 2-2 tower. A huge wall coming from Jolly Green. Ayyfoo does get the Kepri ult as well to stop the CC from the Ymir. And now a big Summon Kong ult goes down. Freaky in a lot of trouble. CuddlyOso down. Jolly Green is also next. Their backline is getting dived. They have no peel whatsoever. Freaky dies to the tornado. Jolly Green is managing just to barely get out. Polyduce is doing as much as he can to peel for the Ymir. And now Mid Phoenix is in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, Mid Phoenix can be looked here, I imagine, right after the fact as she's going to go down. And this classic team fight dominance here, I mean, you're seeing a lot of the pressure that this team is bringing too. There's just nothing they can do, but with Jolly Green falling down, this may just be an end call.
That might be game. Jolly Green does not know where the Merlin is. There is what seems to be a lack of communication that's coming from the Merlin and the Ymir, but UndrclasHero is getting really low, taking hits from the Titan. Lone Wolf does manage to go into the ult, looking for any target that he can. The Titan is very low. Lone Wolf does manage to whiff the ult. Polyduke's doing as much as he can for peel, and that's the end of that. 25-1, 26 minutes in. Banana Clan just show that they're not a 0-3 team. They deserve to be considered one of the best.
Absolutely, and they've definitely made some adjustments and improving as they go on to this, because 25-1, that's just a classic snowball right there. Yeah. And especially when you see a god like Ao Kuang, you don't really think snowball, so that just makes it even more scary when they end up getting ahead in that early game, because if a god's that good late game, then if they're ahead early, what do? He just ends up rotating across the map, and as you said, that Tiamat and Kefri combo, man, that is terrifying. Tiamat already so hard to dive, so hard to kill when he goes into that ground stance. The amount of mitigations, he feels almost unkillable at times, and there was a couple of times where Overlord goes in, just dumps absolutely everything on top of them, but then they get Kefri ulted, and that feels even worse.
Yeah.
Because now you already feel like you can't kill the Tiamat, and then when you finally dump everything and get to that point where you're able to get close to this Tiamat, she just gets rest, and there's just not much you can do about it. So just a really, really good team comp selection by Banana Clan, and fantastic execution, just getting that lead early and just suffocating Overlords throughout the game, making sure that they really can't get anything done across the map. Overlords did have that fantastic fire steal that kept them in a bit longer, but it only delayed the game about a minute or two as Banana Clan just regrouped, reconvened, and won that next team fight.
And
okay.
And unfortunately for this Thanatos, I mean, he did manage to steal the Fire Giant, but he ended the game with 3.7k player damage. I mean, yikes! Like, he stole the fire. That's good. You know, that's some good stuff. But
yeah, that's definitely not the play you want to.
He needs to do more.
Thanatos is not a god that can really wait around for late game. It's definitely a god that, you know, that's the type of god where you just want to blink in mid at level 2 and just try to create chaos from the get-go.
Yeah,
I think that the snowball god, and when you're not able to get a lead, especially when you get behind on a god like Thanatos, that scythe that normally feels like it's so impactful just feels like it does nothing when you're behind on that god. So definitely an unfortunate comp to get behind on.
Yeah, and I think that Overlords really need to take a breath, shake off game one, say, okay, we know what our issues were. We didn't find enough pressure in the Thanatos. We can't let the Tiamat get ahead. We can't give them Tiamat. I hope to God they're saying that we cannot give them Tiamat, and shake it off and find a comp that might have much more early pressure and to execute that early pressure. Maybe look for a Raijin. Maybe look for a Sobek. try to find, unfortunately the Thanatos didn't find anything in the early game, but it's not as if I don't think he didn't want to. It's that maybe he didn't have the tools to do so. But with a very early game, with early game CC and early game damage, I think that they can really bring it around. And think about how hard it is to kill a Tiamat too in the early game, especially. It is very difficult. So ban the Tiamat, look for some early pressure, look for maybe a Raijin, maybe look for a more comfortable pick for the support for Overlords, because it's not as if the Ymir looked terrible, because it had some moments of brilliance with the walls, some great freezes. I mean, that 3-man freeze into the Merlin fire was excellent, but it seemed that there was still a little bit of miscomfort. And make sure that the comms are all there, because there were moments where Ymir is going in and there's no one around him, especially near the end where they won the game. I mean, he's walking in, and fortunately, what is he doing? Like, Merlin's backing up. He should be calming that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you said at the beginning is definitely what you want to do for Overlords. You take some key points of what went wrong, and then you throw it in the back of your mind. It's like,
Yeah.
you leave that away. You should come into this next game feeling like game one, like nothing happened. Like it's all right, because you can't do it. Like, it's 25-1. It happens. Sometimes they get a lead, they stomp you out. It's whatever. Just throw it away. Come in with a fresh reset mental. Get a good game plan. Make sure some of those priority picks that they were able to snowball on Banana Clan is gone, and come in fresh, and hopefully just turn around some of the things that happened in the last game.
Yeah, and I think it's important for Overlords to say, let's not forget the game, because the learning is, we have to learn from our mistakes, but that was just a fluke. The best teams, they get snowballed and get absolutely destroyed game one, but then they bring it back. Just look at what Solar Scarabs are able to do in the SBL. They get destroyed game one. They say, listen, you know what? I got destroyed. I know what my mistakes were. I'm gonna correct them, and I'm gonna do better. And Solar Scarabs are a very good team in SBL, because they are able to do that, because their mentals are so high. So while we know that Overlords are all very mechanically good players, I think that this next game is going to test Overlords' mental fortitude, because if Overlords play tilted, you will see it, and this will be more of a wash than game one will be.
Absolutely. A lot of people do tend to forget the mentality behind what comes into these sets and stuff. Stuff like tilt, not being super assured in yourself is definitely going to show in your gameplay. And yeah, this will be a great test of their mental and their teamwork with each other, because a lot of times when you have a game one like that, people can start blaming each other, saying, pointing fingers, being like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. If they're able to make sure that doesn't happen and not blame each other, just get a nice reset and still have faith in their teammates going to the next game, they can definitely make a huge comeback coming into this next one.
For sure. And I think all the Overlord players are very good and are able to do that. It's just how can we see it? Can we see? And as we go into picks and bans for game two, there needs to be a pivot from Overlords, as they do look for first pick, which I think already is a good start. It's a good start, and I hope that they look immediately for the Tiamat ban, and they do. And I already like what Overlords are drafting now. Banana Clan looks for the Gilgamesh.
Yep, and that's great right there. That's exactly what you got to do. You recognize that was a pretty key problem in the draft, because like sometimes in those game ones too, like, yeah, you never really want a Tiamat getting through. I know personally I would never let Tiamat get through, but when it's game one, sometimes you want to test the water a little bit. Can this player play Tiamat? Can we play around Tiamat? It's not always a massive problem to try to let it get through game one, but they have it happen. It obviously doesn't go good. It's good to just realize that was a problem, that was a mistake. We'll fix it going into game two.
And now that Overlords are sort of thinking, what position do they want to pivot these next bans? I mean, now Athena's still open. It looks like they ban out the Ao Kuang.
Great
a very respect ban coming out, as Banana Clan bans out the Athena. I mean, I don't think the Ao Kuang was the deciding factor of the game, but I kind of respect the fact that they go for it. I mean, it leaves a lot open on the map for for them, I mean, Ymir, Sobek are all open, and the Soul is open. A very powerful pick to pick the first one off.
Absolutely, and Overlords is going for just some more target man playstyle. I mean, all 3 gods that they banned out were seen on the other team, so they're saying, okay, let's get these off their gods and let's see if they're able to perform on some of these other picks. And when you see target bans like this come out, it leaves a lot of the meta open. Chiron is open, as we see the Soul picked up almost immediately. Like, a lot of these gods that you normally would see in the top 3 are going to become available due to the fact that you don't really see SWK or Ao Kwang banned in these positions, as we see a Donzabor and Ganesha Hubbard.
Yeah.
A solid dual lane.
I have a lot to say about Ganesh. I think Ganesh is a really smart pick very early on in the draft because it baits a lot of teams into picking things that Ganesh secretly counters. Like Ymir. If Overlords pick a Ymir, I think they walk straight into Banana Clan's hands because think about the Ganesh silence and think about the fact that Ganesh can dash through Ymir walls. So inherently, this Ganesh kind of is a 4th ban towards this Ymir, and if they pick it, it's already a negative matchup, in my opinion. I think that a Ymir suffers greatly from a Ganesh.
Absolutely.
And also, that's interesting because Ganesh now also dodges Odin walls as well. He can dash through Odin walls.
Yeah, and honestly, even throwing up Dharmic Pillars inside of Odin ult can make it really hard for people to capitalize and punish the fact that Odin just put down his walls. Like, nobody wants to go in and try to punish that. But we see the Jing 10 in the Odin, which is honestly a very potent combo. I'm not disliking Overlord's game 2 draft coming into this. I mean,
definitely,
when you cage into a Soul ult or a Jing 10 ult into a Soul ult, like, you're putting them into a box and then trying to capitalize. And on the other end, we see something similar with the Ganesh ult into the Scylla ult. Essentially, they're just trying to trap them into these big circles and then throw out a ton of this big mage damage. So I'm kind of excited to see what else they're going to try to pair with these essentially big cages that they're trying to throw it in. And I think the jungle picks are going to be very pivotal in how this game is played around these comps, because are they going to go for more like an engage jungle, maybe an assist peel jungle to help out with this, or are they going to have like just an all-in help with this big dive coming in with these cages and circles that everybody's thrown out?
And I think Jing Shen is a super undervalued pick because I think he's actually he's a good solo laner, and I think he's a very good support. I think his Roland of Rage and Steel is very good. His HP 5 is incredible for the early game. He has good CC, and I think his one that negates 50% of basic attack damage is super undervalued, especially because, again, these are kind of like very high level picks because this Jing Shen kind of wants to stop Banana Clan from picking an AS jungler here. So they banned Bakasura, which I'm not the biggest fan of because I think that Jing Shen has a very good matchup into Bakasura. But if Banana Clan picks an AS jungler here, this could inherently give Banana Clan a hard time. But the tier hover is interesting because Banana Clan did ban it in the second round of drafts. So I think there is a lot of tier value coming from both these teams.
Absolutely, and I mean, Tier always will have his classic lane bully-esque feel to him, as he has so much sustain. One Fearless can pretty much put the opposing laner at half HP and not feel comfortable anymore. A lot of what, in my mind, makes a Tier player a really good Tier player is how he can position in these team fights and how his team can play around these displacements. Because if a Tier is just running around Fearlessing all willy-nilly, sometimes that can be a bad thing for a team if he's pushing them out of position, or if he's just unable to position himself and ends up getting blown up. But we do see a Naja Hubbard.
I don't like this. I don't like that. Oh, I don't really like the pick. I don't like it here.
I think the obvious thought behind this one is just Naja ult and the Scylla ult. If they're able to effectively get this off, then that could be big into this early or the mid to late game, especially. Like, Naja ult and the Scylla ult is pretty much just a full HP execute. There's not much that you can do around it. But Naja not exactly in the strongest place right now in the meta, I will say. He does find himself struggling a lot. it's almost hard to find a place in the game where he excels. His early game's okay, his ring bound's slow, do a bit of damage, his clear is fine, but I the problem is when I quote unquote gets online in this late game, if he's building damage, is when he can one shot with his ult, but the problem with that is he's just so killable. So his late game doesn't feel that great anyway. So this is really going to be around how his team plays with this Naja. If they're able to find value out of that Windfire Wheels or those big slows coming in for the Naja one, they can potentially get some big value out of this. But I think on the other end, getting is that going to be a
Sorry, one sec, guys. I just have to pick up a package.
no worries at all. Absolutely. But yeah, this will be definitely interesting. It looks like there's an Achilles jungle coming in through Overlords, and that'll definitely be interesting because Achilles jungle can definitely provide a lot, especially with this big elephant and this tier there. If you're able to find those priority executes onto this big front line. However, I will say it is kind of hard to get in there with Achilles on the
Yeah.
backliners that Banana Clan has. I mean, Scylla, Ganesh, and Danzamora already hard to dive enough, and when Achilles is just sitting there getting silenced, getting rooted, getting haunted, it could be really hard. So I'm definitely looking to see how Jolly Green plays his positioning coming into these team fights.
I think what's interesting about Banana Clans is that I think Banana Clan really needs to dictate the pace of these engagements. So with this Ninja pick that they have, it's very dangerous because if Banana Clan can dictate the pace of these engagements, then I think they snowball Overlords and they get an easy dub. However, if Overlords does engage primarily in the beginning or has a good counter engage, which I think they have both with the Achilles jungle, I think that this Ninja is going to become utterly useless. Also, we just want to say that there is going to be a little bit delay on the game. There was a lobby reset, but we're going to be back. We're going to be as fast as we can to get us back into the game. But I think that this Ninja is going to struggle a lot as long as he can't dictate the pace of the game. Because think about what little resources he has to get out of an Odin cage, what little resources he has to get out of the Jing Chen wall of peel that he has. I would like to see if Ninja's going to go into this. I'd like to see him build more of a bruiser build. I want him to. I'm a big component. I love Ninja. I think he's a great character. I want him to pick up Pridwin. I want him to pick up Pridwin and Erendite. You know, I want him to maybe pick up Mantle. Maybe build a bit more bruisery as you would basically build a Fenrir. But by the time that Overlords starts picking up pace with the Soul and his Hachiman, I don't think this Ninja's going to be able to do anything. Think about how safe Soul to Separate is. Think about how safe Hachiman is with his mounted archery. There's nothing that this Ninja can do.
Absolutely, and I think Naja and Soul in particular, I've played it a couple of times, and it mostly just feels like a really bad matchup because if Soul even starts her 3 and then you Naja alter, by the time you go up into the air, Soul's 3 activates and immunes the entirety of the ult, and it's just not doing damage. Also, on top of that, if you don't alter but you just sash on top of a Soul, she's going to drop her 1, she's going to drop her ult, and pretty much you're just instantaneously dead. So if I'm the Naja, I'm essentially just looking to target out Hachiman for the most of the game. But we all know how safe Hachiman is with that dash, with that ult. It's definitely going to be hard to find these targets here for him. And Odin, Achilles, or Jing 10, none of those gods really feel good to hit with the Windfire Wheels. You're not really feeling comfortable on whether that person's going to end up dying when they land. More so, it could be you that dies if you end up using your Windfire Wheels on an Odin or a Jing 10 if they just ult you immediately when you return to the ground. It's going to be hard for this Naja, but I feel like what you said earlier is going to come into play here a lot. It's going to be a lot about who decides to be aggressive and who decides to initiate here, because I feel like both comps really excel when they're able to get in there. Because if there's a lot of Odin Blink engagements or Jing 10 Blink engagements, then there's just a lot of chaos, a lot of things that can be forced out, and they can really get in there and dive with that triple frontline and Overlords, but the same thing goes for Banana Clan. If they aren't able to find a really good Fearless or a Windfire Wheels or a Ganesh ult to cause chaos in the very beginning of the fight, then they can capitalize on this really, really well.
Mhm.
If I'm both teams, what I'm just looking to do is make sure that I'm the one that's starting these fights. I'm the one that's getting aggressive, putting in the pressure and making sure that my presence felt throughout the entirety of this game.
And it's interesting because if we just bring back to the picks and bans, like they pick up tier, Overlords pick up Achilles and Hachiman, and I think Banana Clan, if Banana Clan picks up a different jungler, I think Banana Clan wins the draft here. But I think because they inherently pick up the Najah, which is a counter, which is countered by Overlords, they kind of lose the draft, and Overlords have a good position to go into it. I mean, think about how tanky the Overlords are. Now that Najam is probably going to have to build into a bruiser build, they can't one-shot the backliners. They can get to the backliners, but they can't one-shot it. I mean, they have Scylla, I'm a monster, but Scylla has to overextend to get this I'm a monster, and if Soul just ults and Achilles ults, that's a dead Scylla. That's because she's going to stand there for about a second charging that ult. And I think if maybe Banana Clan would look for something that had a way to exit the Odin cage, the first thing that comes into my head is a Hunbats, but I'm sure there are much better picks than a Hunbats. I think that Banana Clan has a much better way at creating a game that isn't about engaging, but rather counter-engaging. Because I think Scylla and Tyr and Danzaburo have great, and even Ganesha have great ways to counter-engage against an Odin and a Xingqian and Achilles.
Absolutely, and I feel like Banana Clan, a lot of this comp is riding on this Scylla to perform here, because I feel like that could single-handedly make or break the game depending on how the Scylla goes on. Because if Scylla is able to find these big I'm a monsters, or even just classic base kit combos on top of these Dharmic Pillars or these Fearlesses or Windfire Wheels, then she will pop off, she will get a lead, and she will do that. But if the opposite happens, who else is going to follow up on all of this big displacement CC that's coming across from Banana Clan? Danzabora can get some autos, maybe he can froze too and taunt, but I'm just not really feeling comfortable about the amount of follow-up that Banana Clan's going to get onto these CC ultimates and abilities that they have.
Yeah.
A lot's riding on the Scylla to make sure that she gets the damage off after the initial displacement or CC, and that's a lot to ask of somebody of essentially put the world on their back and say, all right, we're gonna do things so that you can do things, but you have to do those things, otherwise this game might not go so good. But
what I
it
will
will. Oh,
go ahead,
keep going.
sorry. No, go ahead.
I will say that a lot of this is just riding on how they execute on it. I think both teams definitely have solid identities. They can definitely do things on both sides. I feel like with Overlords, it is much easier to execute with the comp that they have. Triple frontline is just very obnoxious to have to deal with, especially as a backliner. Also, Odin Cage, Jing 10 ult. These are just abilities that are always going to feel good most of the time when you go into these team fights. Along with Soul has a lot of setup, easy setup to make sure that she can get these big ults off. But Overlords, while having an easier team to execute on, doesn't necessarily mean Banana Clan won't be able to execute. But I am excited to see how these teams end up using their comps and utilizing the tools that they have for these team fights.
So just to give you guys an update, we do unfortunately have a crash, and now they're looking for a sub for Jolly. So they're looking for a sub right now. If they unfortunately can't get a sub, they're going to forfeit the set, which is really unfortunate because I have a feeling this set was going to be very spicy. Because this looks really cool.
Hopefully,
Yeah, hopefully we can get. Hopefully they get someone. It's the same picks and bands. It's the same picks and bands and everything. They're just looking for a sub right now, so it's just taking a little bit of time.
yeah,
Um,
I definitely hope someone comes in and subs for Raleigh because yeah, both of these teams don't have a win, and I don't feel like that feels good for either team if one of them has to win through a forfeit because it doesn't feel as redeeming to get your first win through a forfeit, and on the opposite side of that, it feels bad to have what could potentially have been your first win
yeah,
gone from a forfeit. So hopefully we can find a sub for Jolly Green here, but we will see how that turns out for now.
and I feel as someone who just came off the precipice of in my Odin game to finally winning a set, going 3 games losses in a row is so demoralizing. Going 4, I would be shattered. I would be absolutely broken.
Absolutely. The second guessing comes in bad with that.
Yeah,
When you're losing sets over and over and over again, you start to feel like, is it just a team thing? Are we just bad with playing with each other? A lot of self-doubt can come in. Maybe it's that your play personally you're feeling it's not good enough. And when you're questioning stuff like that and you keep losing over and over and over, it just affects the team morale overall, and it can
yeah.
be really hard to bounce back and do things.
It's
So,
definitely difficult, yeah.
but the opposite of that is also true. When you have 3 games lost in a row and you finally get that win, it feels like it takes a big weight off your chest to
Yeah.
be like, okay, my team can win. We can do things well together. We can be a dominant force, and there are strong suits that we have, and we can play with each other. We just have to make sure to keep on doing those and capitalizing. So a lot goes in with the mental when you have 2 teams with a loss streaks going into each other, and I feel like that feels even worse for Overlords if they have to lose to a forfeit.
Yeah,
It
because
just
I feel like Overlords have a good shot here with the draft. Like, um,
absolutely. I will straight up say I think Overlords just won this draft in terms of game
yeah,
2.
certainly.
So it can definitely feel bad to have to take an FF on a stronger comp game going into a game 2.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just unfortunate, really. But I mean, let's hope, let's pray to the gods above that we do get a game 2. As I think something that we actually haven't talked about really is this Achilles jungle. I mean, what's your opinion about Achilles jungle? What do you think he belongs in terms of that meta?
I think Achilles Jungle, normally I actually like him. I'd almost like him on the opposite team in this thing. I like him more into these tanky frontliners because I feel like it stops frontline from feeling as comfortable with that execute. I guess it gives almost a similar feeling to that Alkong where you can come in and try to dive the backline, but you're essentially only have 40% of your health until you have Achilles ult up. But I do think Banana Clan has a lot of tools to kind of shut down this Achilles. I mean, the Ganesh silence feels bad, Scylla Root feels bad, Donzavora Taunt feels bad to go into. He's definitely going to need to go in with someone else. I don't want this Achilles acting as a solo agent, otherwise I feel like he will just get CC'd and blasted down to death.
Yeah,
But Scylla, Ganesha, Donza, there's not a ton they can do when they have Achilles and a Jingten, or Achilles and an Odin. So I think that Achilles can pair really well with his other tanky frontliners and just getting in there. He's even in the jungle normally, he's very tanky just through his passive and base protections alone, even if he doesn't opt for more of a tanky build, which I would like to see a little bit of bruiser coming out of that. And he can just cause a lot of chaos and really get some priority executes in the backline. And if he's able to find an ult, the good part of Achilles is a good Achilles ult pretty much just ends a team fight
it
immediately.
just
Getting that
yeah,
one execute is
yeah,
pretty much instantly turns it into a 4v5 and they're gone. And it puts pressure on Ganesha as well, because normally Ganesha feels like the unkillable one when you're diving the
yeah,
backline, but with Achilles ult on the table, Ganesha becomes a little bit more invincible, a little bit more killable in these fights, and it definitely adds a good dynamic. I do like the Achilles pick, as I do just think that triple frontline is very strong right now and can be capitalized on really well.
So, just an update to everyone. through an update to everyone, we do have a sub. They picked them up through free agency. Rebel King is their name, and so we are going to have a game 2 for Overlords, which I am insanely excited about because I'm reading chat right now, and I don't want to be like a DJ at a really crappy bar, but I'm like, yeah, show me some hype. Finally, game 2. God, I'm so excited for this. I just can't wait to see how the Overlords really perform on this because, again, I want to really reiterate that if Overlords can pick this up and to start engaging and it is not passive towards this early mid game, I think they just stomp this game out, and I think we just go immediately to a game 3. We just tie a nice ribbon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how this free agent is going to work out. I mean, maybe this free agent is going to be the next saving grace.
Yeah, who knows? With a free agent coming in, there could be a lot of mental in that. If the free agent's really confident coming in and goes, all right, guys, let's stomp them out. Let's win this. As you said, Banana Clan, that comp feels terrible from behind. Tyr feels awful from behind. Naja feels terrible from behind. Scylla feels terrible from behind. Danzabora feels terrible from behind. So I think if Overlords comes in with a revitalized energy, goes, all right, you know, we have a free agent in, which is obviously unfortunate we couldn't get our main jungler in, but if they're still able to keep up a decent amount of hype and energy, go into the set and say, all right, we're going to execute, we're going to get in there, pressure out the early game. I'm not sure what Banana Clan's really going to be able to do about getting absolutely W-keyed by a triple frontline comp with a Soul and Hachiman in the background, which are super safe, hard to kill, hard to dive.
And I think what's interesting about free agents is that they're always so hungry to play. You know, like it's their first game on the big screen. You know, for a fact, they want to look good. You know,
absolutely. Well, especially,
so they're
I'm
hungry.
sure he knows this is casted as well. So
Yeah.
going from free agent, I mean, this could really put him on the board if he comes in, has a really good showing. That could show a lot of teams that maybe are looking for a jungle if they are having some roster issues or some timing things. They can look and be like, oh wow, he subbed in on a team that was one game down, started fragging out, and did really, really well in a lot of things. That definitely looks good. When you're in a free agency, as you said, you're definitely looking to prove yourself and show that you can compete and that you do deserve to be on a team. That could play a really big factor coming into this game.
We should be approaching the game very soon as it's man, there's just a lot of variables right now for Overlords. I mean, but now for sure that they have had time to chill out. You know, they're not walking in steaming based off Lekin. They had time to chill out, and I think what's really going to dictate the pace here is that what is this level 2, level 3 mid pressure going to be like for Scylla and Najah? Because the mid pressure for Scylla and Najah is actually very good. It's just that will it be able to perform with an Achilles soul? And how well is that? I mean, usually a soul doesn't get, at least when I would play soul, you don't really get the separate until you're level 3. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I like getting her one second. So is that gonna follow the same line of logic? Like, is Najah going to sash soul right away? And will Scylla have enough burst to kill out the soul? Because if they can shut down soul and Overlord, that's really huge. That's actually massive. Because a lot of the pressure is going to come from Soul's massive DPS here. If Soul can get ahead, it's sunshine for Overlord. If Soul gets behind, oh man, Overlords have a lot of work to do in terms of climbing back up. And as I am excited to say, finally, we are now getting into game 2, where we have the Overlords and Banana Clan up 1-0. And man, I'm just excited to get started. We talked about this game for like 20 minutes, and now we get to finally see it.
We did a lot of theory craft and a lot of what could potentially happen, and it does feel good to finally get in here and see how some of this is going to turn out. Also, another thing, that Odin solo, man, that's powerful right now. Let me tell you, that god feels downright oppressive. His laning phase still struggles a little bit. I do think the Fighter's Mask start definitely makes him feel like he's in a better place, but Odin has never been about his early game. It's when he goes into that late game, he starts blinking in, he ults, everybody's in a cage, and then he throws on just this massive shield on himself. He feels unkillable. He's providing tons of CC. If he gets a bird bomb leap, it can just obliterate a backliner. This god provides a lot right now, and it's definitely scary going into the other team because Don Zabora can't get out, Tyr can't get out without ultimating, and Naja can't get out.
Yeah.
So these cages could be really, really scary, depending on their placements and how they get used in these fights. One good Odin cage could pretty much spell the end for Banana Clan here.
I hope Lone Wolf realizes that he's jungling because he picks up the Bluestone Pendant. So we do have, again, a pause, but it's not Smite without the pause. So this is fully part of the experience.
I do definitely hope that he changes up that build.
I hope he realizes after 20 minutes of waiting that he is in fact jungling. And as we got from a chat message from Freaky Woo, it looks like the other team is having some issues right now. So hopefully, God is out there and he will clear these out. I hope.
A lot of pauses coming through for
sure.
Ayyfoo's
back. Ayyfoo's back. Huge.
This is big.
That's big. That's big.
Huge
That's
content.
big.
Pop off in the chat, boys. Let's go.
That's
Game might start.
Hopefully, Achilles doesn't walk out with Bluestone. Let's hope. Please realize your jungle.
As my man Ric Flair and the Hooper Apollo skin would say in this situation. Woo! Let's hope. All right, let's. The game is unpausing. There we go.
Let's go. Okay, Achilles, don't walk out of this with Bluestone. Don't walk out of this.
All right, now sell everything, Lone
Wait,
Wolf.
what? Is Odin jungle? Why does he have teleport? Wait, what's happening here?
Wait, is it? Did they swap up? Is this an Odin jungle with Fighter's Mask?
What?
Okay.
This is a mistake. This is definitely a
that is a misplay. Fighter's Mask sure gives you a lot of power.
Wow.
You're probably gonna be
doing it.
Fast.
He's doing it.
All I'm gonna say is my man's okay. So he's gonna hog this, or maybe he'll base kit this, and then he'll go hog the Harpy. So he'll go in the lane, not super hurt, but as soon as he starts clearing more and more cans, he's not sustaining. He's got nothing to help him here. It's 40 magic power. That's a lot, I guess. I mean, maybe he can blink in and finds an amazing,
oh my God, Ayyfoo DCs.
Or a jump, and Ayyfoo DCs again. This is gonna have to be a pause, or maybe they're just gonna keep it going.
They're letting it rip.
They're letting it run. All right, but
why aren't they pausing? That's weird. Anyway, not my business.
I think they already used their pause, so I think rule-wise speaking here, they've already used their 5 minutes, and I don't believe they're able to start up another pause coming to this one, so they're just gonna have to wait for him to get back. Hopefully, you can stay until then, but yeah. I mean, Odin already half health. Gonna have to pop pots just to try not to die.
I mean, I guess this is the dream scenario as an Achilles. You get just a bunch of free farm. You just enjoy the skies, I guess. CuddlyOso looking for something on Luke to do. Does get to jump in, but UndrclasHero does find this shash on Poly. Dudes, they do miss the stellar burst on UndrclasHero, and that's just the end of that. Lone Wolf looking for the blue. I mean, there's a huge solo fight right now happening. I mean, Ayyfoo's putting up a large fight right now, but you can't really beat the power of his probably poopy internet. Rebel King does get dashed on by DetachedData. Does find a turnaround from Freaky. Freaky does use the beads, but unfortunately, they weren't able to commit on it. CuddlyOso's coming from the back as well. There is a horrific down from DetachedData. CuddlyOso does not have his shield. Blinks in. He's going to probably look for the stun with Gungir's Might. The spring comes out from Rebel King. Does find the stun onto DetachedData, and Rebel King, the free agent from Overlord, finding first blood in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, Fighter's Mask, I guess, did some damage there. I'll give him that. It's not turning out to be completely, a dud, but I mean, on that one, and a pause is finally going to come out. I'm not sure from which team or why it took a bit, but regardless, hopefully Ayyfoo can get there. And he has returned From the looks of
Apparently,
it, he has come back.
apparently Ayyfoo's playing on the Switch.
Oh.
Ayyfoo's oh my god, Ayyfoo's the goated Switch player. No way.
Well, if Ayyfoo comes back and frags out on the Switch,
Okay.
give my man a mill.
Yeah,
Because
that man's getting promoted straight to Odin.
I was just gonna say, tier list him #1 on that
Yeah.
Odin power rankings if my man comes in on a Switch 2 levels down and somehow manages to frag out this game.
He's on
That'll
he's,
be
he's on the
insane.
Switch late. I mean, we have another boss coming in, but good for Rebel King. I mean, come on, Rebel King. We're all rooting for you. Like, good for you, man.
Free agency hand cannon might be coming out here. Might have busted out their secret strat on Overlords. We'll have to see. But I'm hoping that this Switch light hand cannon really comes out and he he frags out. That'd be the story of the century.
Wow. I mean, I think that what do you think? What starter do you think CuddlyOso is going to go into now? I mean, they have a lot of options. I mean, do you think they might look for a Boomba's hammer here? Do you think they might go for a protector or a seer of the jungle, even maybe?
I'm hoping he gets the starter. That's my biggest concern. I'm really hoping that he backs and gets one. If he does get one, I would like to see the Boombas just because I
Yeah.
do think you are going to be building tankier on top of this Odin. Obviously, I'd like to see some hybrid, something like a Pridwin, some cooldowns, some defenses. You can get some power to make sure that these bird bombs really are hitting hard and that you can get some good lane pressure into these ganks. But I do think the Boombas works really, really well on Odin. Those resets feel absolutely amazing. When an Odin's just using his 3, autoing you, bird bombing, autoing you, and then he just feels like he's bird bombing you 17 times in one fight, definitely doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
So I am looking to see a Boombas picked up here from the Odin. I think that would definitely be.
I'm definitely a lover of the Najah Seer of the jungle instead of Protector of the jungle. I don't know. I love Protector of the jungle. I think it's a great item, but I really think Seer is a super undervalued pick. I mean, you get free wards, you get a bunch of true damage onto objectives. I think it's a really great item, especially against the Najah. If the Najah decides not to go a bruiser build for God knows what reason, I think Seer of the jungle is actually a really great idea because think how much shred he's gonna have at the fire giant. He gets one lucky crit with his 2. That thing is gonna do massive amounts of fire damage, and the amount of burn that they might have with the Danzaburo and then the Scylla confirm. Banana Clan subjective secure might actually be very good into the late and early game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I will say it is probably more likely he goes hybrid and then just gets protector to get a little bit of boost in the both stats. But it could be an interesting one. That could be a little bit of spice if it ends up getting picked up to look for those objectives. So we'll have to see that turns out. Everybody else though, I mean, other than obviously other than Cuddly doing his own thing, everybody having a fairly standard build.
Yeah.
I actually do like the Soul build coming out here. I don't play a lot of Soul, mostly because I like casuals, and I think playing Soul and casuals a little cringe, but it's what it is. But when I do play Soul, I've tried both the attack speed build and the ability base, and I gotta say personally, I genuinely think ability based Soul just feels flat out better. Getting the Charons going and the Spear of the Magus and just one-shotting frontliners with your abilities definitely feels really good. All right. Wait. and maybe you can get a Telekines. However, not really my cup of tea. I think. Okay, so are we just going back to? All
We're
right. Well,
going
the
back.
game's just. Yep, the game's just playing it out. We're going right back into it. But what I was saying is, I think that just going for power and pen is more so better than going for auto attack speed. But I do agree that I really like the lifesteal. I think the lifesteal build definitely feels really good with the Vamp Shroud. However, I don't think this build is a flop. I don't think it's bad.
No, I don't think so
Definitely do
either.
things. I'm just
don't think
hoping
so
that
either,
the
yeah.
Charons to get that early pen online and it feels good, as there is
Ooh.
some really good poke coming out in mid right there.
Yeah, and if Polyjuice had the lifesteal build, he would probably be able to lifesteal it out. But you know, it is unfortunate. But you know, it is what it is. And now that Banana Clan are at a severe deficit with Ayyfoo, I really think that maybe UndrclasHero might need to place a lot of pressure onto Soul or this ADC lane. I think they need to leave Ayyfoo alone. They need to let him just stay in tower. He might lose to tier 1, he might lose to tier 2, but he's 4 levels behind. That's kind of how it is right now.
That lane should be gone.
Yeah, that lane is jeopardized.
As I say, in Banana Clan's lane, that should be out of the picture. That's gone.
Yeah.
Ayyfoo should try to throw up some wards just so that if Lone Wolf looks to rotate out, he can look at his team and be like, hey, he's rotating. I'm 100% not going to rotate with that because there's no point in doing that when you're so far behind. And Underclass, I feel personally, should put a lot of pressure on this dual lane if he's able. I think Danzabora one ahead can feel really impressive. Oh!
We got a solo kill from the Overlords coming out from Luke the Duke. I mean, there's the solo. I mean, that also, we have a bit more pressure from the ADC lane. Hachiman does have the mounted archery. Ayyfoo does find Lone Wolf into the tower, takes a good amount of damage, but it's returned back. But
the switch light hand cannon not going down without a fight.
The switch, the switch OLED gamer right here, not going down without, you know, giving some good hands to Lone Wolf. But unfortunately, a really unfortunate kill. Here comes CuddlyOso ringing out Ganesha. It does get stuck in. Good CC chain. Does dash through the Odin ring. Rebel King does use Whirlwind and Steel to get the Dawn Sparrow beads. And Nisha rotating upwards as well. Ayyfoo is actually getting a really good trade onto Lone Wolf here. The Switch Light gamer right now just doing his best to stay in the lane. And honestly, he was 4 levels down. He's 2 levels down. He's kind of getting the hands to Lone Wolf right now. Once Tyr hits this ult, it's actually not the worst, as Wabi Sabi tries his best to steal the red and unfortunately doesn't get it. Freaky just waiting for the Saki.
I will put it out there. The Odin has opted for a bluestone in the jungle as the second thing.
God, that's a mistake.
He has no sustain. These camps are going to destroy him. He's already out of mana. When he does back and he starts clearing these camps, he's going to be out of health.
That's a mistake, unfortunately.
It's working out so far, I guess. If I'm a coach for Overlords, I'm probably shaking my head right now, being like, "What is my man doing? Why is he doing that?" However, it's turning out currently. So
look at mid lane right now. UndrclasHero is trying to do his best, and Polyjuice does get the beats out. Polyjuice does manage to get Luke the Duke with the ult. Soul does use her beats in exchange for the initial ult, but I mean, Polyjuice just frags out Luke the Duke. What was last game Luke the Duke's game to play Tiamat is now getting a taste of their own medicine, getting soloed twice now. I mean,
and Luke the Duke is getting the soul experience right there. When you get that 2 ult off, that thing can pretty much one-shot you. I can't tell you the amount of games I've played against the soul and be like, all right, I'm getting 2'd, I'm getting auto'd, I'm getting ulted, and I'm dead.
And I'm dead. Yeah. Oh, how
and there's my health bar. Like, well, glad I could go against that one. But yeah, just doing a great job. I mean, he's finding these really, really nice ults, and Luke the Duke cannot do a lot about them at this point. He's behind. He's either going to have to look for some assistance for his jungle support to try to get more of a comeback here, or he's going to have to do the classic Scylla thing of throw his 2, dash away, and then just sit there until his 2's back up and do it all again.
Now CuddlyOso trying to invade. Najat is whiffing it out, but dealing a lot of damage right now. But Rebel King is here trying to peel for CuddlyOso. Ayyfoo is around the switch like gamer. Look, the Duke goes into I'm a monster. CuddlyOso blinks out, but a great
wrist
from Look at the Duke. Here comes Lone Wolf as well coming in. The Nijal does come down. Rebel King is in a bit of trouble, but Polydeuces does manage to get UndrclasHero. Ayyfoo is in the execute range right now. Does get executed under tier 2 tower. Look to Duke. Sentinels out. And that's the end of that engagement. A great engagement for Overlords and what seemed to be good. And there comes the Mount Archer out of Freaky. Unfortunately, hits the wall. Doesn't get anything for Wabi Sabi. And now getting his purple invaded. But what seemed like a great engagement for Banana Clan, unfortunately, goes down. Go down quite poorly for them.
Yeah, and I don't know how CuddlyOso lives that one. I mean, he has a great blink play over the wall, but Luke the Duke had an instant reaction, hits him with the Sikkim, and he's just barely able to get out. It was, I mean, it's just straight up a greedy play by CuddlyOso to be taking those back camps right there when the whole team's there, but his team was very wise to it, shows up to his aid when he needs them the most, gets a good Odin cage, and able to get out of there, and they get some picks off the back end. Also, a good Achilles all onto the T2 tower, making sure to get that. A little bit unfortunate for Ayyfoo, obviously being a bit behind, but that's a little scary. When you're 7 minutes into the game and you lose a team fight at your own back camps, that's scary. That's really when you're like, all right, boys, let's farm up and let's prevent anything like that from happening again, because that's terrifying.
that is scary. I mean, there's a 3K gold lead right now for Overlords at 8 minutes right now. That's huge right now, as Odin seems to be going into what seems to be probably a Jotun's Wrath. A good job by Freaky, by the way. We didn't mention this, but he does manage to secure his own purple. I wish it was blue buff by Wabi Sabi, as there is a little bit of aggression coming from mid lane. The solo comes out, but nothing comes from it. DetachedData maybe takes 30% of his health, as Rebel King is maybe trying to look it back in, but as we look towards the solo lane, oh, never mind, there's the microwave coming out. The washing machine comes out again from Rebel King. A good sentinel in, looking for the root. Doesn't manage to find the Sikkim or the Crush, as CuddlyOso is looking his way around. Remember, he does have ult. The microwave is down. Scylla does use her beads. Rebel King does manage to get in. She's going to take a bit of damage for trying to get out of there. CuddlyOso does get the kill on Luke the Duke, but CuddlyOso goes far deep in the tower. UndrclasHero dies to Polydeuces Freaky with a phenomenal rotation. Beats out the Danzaburo. Ayyfoo manages to get his blue buff, and that's a tier 1 tower down. Now they're looking towards Gorp.
That's a big ADC rotation, the T1 tower, and that was also... I mean, CuddlyOso... After Luke the Duke dashed away, he goes, "Nah, son, I'm making sure you don't get out of there." Leaps right in, makes sure to secure that kill, and now they're just gonna strip everything on the left side. They're gonna get those Scorps, they're gonna get those Oris. Now they have enhanced buffs on both of them. That's a pretty big power spike. They're gonna be able to do a lot, and as you said, that early gold deficit already 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
It's what we were talking about. Their comp has the ability to snowball. Their comp feels really, really good from ahead, and it feels downright oppressive to be behind on a triple front line. And that's what they're doing right now.
I don't think there should be a world where Hachiman out-rotates a Danzaburo. Like, I just don't think there should be a world. Danzaburo has that rocket. The rotational abilities from Danzaburo are so strong. There should be no world as Jing Shen looks for sovereignty, but there is an aggression coming from mid. UndrclasHero unfortunately misses. The amount of damage they made. What? Hello? Did you see that?
Soul just sent my man to the Shadow Realm.
Not just Soul, but the Gungear's Might from Odin. He ever ticked at like 15% of his health. What?
Now you see him, now you notice. Overlord on the disappearing act right there. My man Underclass. I don't know. I have to do so much to check up on my man, see if he's okay, because that was not okay what I just watched. That's for sure.
Jesus Christ, man!
I mean, that was.
Oh my God! Where did he go?
That was a lot of damage.
Man. Anyway, the Jing Shen goes into the sovereignty, which I really like. I think sovereignty is a great item, and I especially think sovereignty is very good into a more like snowbally thing, into a more snowbally comp, because I think that you have two options when you're really snowballing. I think you either get the relic dagger, which increases your, decreases your cooldown on your relics, which is really good if you have like a Sunder or even an Ankh. If you're against a Terra, never mind this. Freaky's looking to fight Wabi Sabi. DetachedData is in the area. This Freaky sniffed this out. He does not. DetachedData looking for the microwave, does find it, Now he's dashing around. The Dancer Rocket is trying to get to Freaky. Will he get the stun? Freaky gets the mounted archery, gets both Wabi Sabi. Here comes Polydeuces with the Stellar Burst. Does manage to get Wabi Sabi. Now DetachedData has to dash out. And look at the Gold Fury. There's Xing Chen bullying out too. The washing machine comes out, and Polydeuce is now surrounded by 3, but with the help of Freaky, Luke the Duke misses his Sikkim. Rebel King jumping in as much as he can. CuddlyOso blinks in, looking at Luke the Duke, does manage to catch out Luke the Duke and his monster. The amount of damage that he does is absolutely stupid. Man, I've been hating this Odin, but come on, look at that.
My man is... And my man in the mid lane putting on a clinic, just rotating everywhere, making his presence felt. Oh my god, there he goes!
There goes the Nijan.
Look at that soul special. No Draugr is gonna stop them from getting this tower.
And DetachedData hits with the aim assist Apex Legends dash into the wall. And that's unfortunate. I mean, that's a 3 for 0. I'm actually 4 for 0 because Wabi Sabi goes down, right? So now they're going to probably position towards gold. Freaky is in a bit of trouble right now, getting fragged up by Wabi Sabi. Great pick from them. I think they could do the gold now. CuddlyOso jumping in on Wabi Sabi, and that's the end of that. Ayyfoo doing his best to just try and stay in this game. Just try and do his best and ensuring that he can do well, trying to invade this blue buff. Will he get it? He does manage to get it, but now he's in a lot of trouble. Does use the defensive fearless. Does find the ult, manages to pick it up because solo laners only think about one thing, and it's about farm. Now he's in a lot of trouble. He might enter the execute range sooner rather than later. No, finds a huge heal, and you know what? I was thinking solo laners.
Yeah. My man just full healed off the 2, and there he is. But
wow, solo lane's so fun.
I rightfully so have been singing the praises of this soul, but I do want to give a shout out to my man Freaky G. I believe when that fight first started, he uses his beads, gets out, downs a rockets on his ult, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he 180 flicked his ult to do damage after Danzabora landed, and then Danzabora just gets obliterated from the soul, his ult, a tower shot, and that just starts the fight off really, really well. A good mechanical play by him, and then, I mean, we saw what happened after that. Soul just walks up rampages for everybody, throwing out abilities, doing everyone's health bar. Fantastic play by CuddlyOso too, just finds Luke the Duke, traps him in with his ult, so he's forced to just sit there inside of the Odin cage and take the punishment, and
attack here.
This is terrifying for Banana Clan. When there's a level 15 soul who's 9-0-2, I believe, and they're down 6.6k in XP and 6.3k in gold, this is, man, Gold Fury's down. If I'm Overlords, I'm just looking to drop that FG Scorp as soon as possible so that I can get that Pyromancer and those other objectives up on the map.
FG's in a little bit of trouble right now. Maybe not actually. Polydeuces is around. Rebel King jumping in, looking for it. He does have the washing machine on DetachedData. Remember, DetachedData no beads. Microwave does come out. Does use the Horrific to try to get away, but Rebel King, excellent use of the sprint there. CuddlyOso at the other side, looking at UndrclasHero, does get the ult onto Odin, and there is a big trouble. Soul does come out, the washing machine comes out onto UndrclasHero, but now the fight is really split between Freaky and Underclass. Wabi Sabi looking to rotate onto him. Underclass does get down, and that is the first engagement. Here comes Ayyfoo coming around. He's gonna beat out this Achilles. Achilles, look at him, still at blue. Ayyfoo's trying his best to look in, but look at all the health bars coming from Overlords. They're all so... There's no one in a really critical state right now. Ayyfoo looking towards, maybe just trying to get out. Does fearless CuddlyOso, who's, you know, not tanky at all, but look at that build. Crusher, Jotuns, Mask, Bluestone. I mean, he bird bombs you. It's over. It's over.
My man will bird bomb you right to the fountain with that.
Yeah,
he is pumping out some numbers right now. And this is looking like a complete 180 flop from game 1, whereas now Overlord's just running them down and Banana Clan doesn't have an answer.
Nice. Oh, here comes the Dancer Rocket from Wabi Sabi looking at Freaky.
But the turnaround. He's getting the tower damage.
Just is Freaky looking at it. I mean, Wabi Sabi does way more damage than Freaky in the build right now, but and then just Wabi Sabi unfortunately just says, no, I can't win this one. That's it. And good job from Freaky to use his ult to just barely get away from the rocket. Good jukes as well from mounted archery as well, but
He keeps hitting him with the combo. I mean, he keeps
Yeah.
using the CC immunity from his ult, and then as soon as the ult hits him from Danzabora, he is 180ing that and doing the damage.
Yeah.
But just kind of a fun slap fight. I think that's the only lane that's relatively even enough to where we could get some exciting battles, and the rest of this game is just Soul and CuddlyOso rampaging through everybody else.
Yeah.
Polydeuce is... that man's a raid boss. Wherever he
Yeah.
goes, they can't be. They have to be scared. That's why I'm feeling like they should go Pyro right now, because what are they going to do? Kill
And
the
look at
Soul?
that.
They can't. Soul's going to kill them. And there it is, and they started up, and...
But Ayyfoo's around this area. Is the Switchlight Pro gamer going to look for Polydeuces? He does manage to get about 20% health. Pyromancer still being leashed. The amount of damage Soul does is ridiculous right now. BananaClan does get it. The Switchlight gamer gets the Pyromancer. I mean, come on. Here comes UndrclasHero. He's in a lot of trouble right now. In Achilles range as well. The washing machine comes out. The Fearless comes out from Ayyfoo. I mean, the Lawbringer. And you trade Najah for a Pyromancer. It's not the worst trade. I mean, Najah was 1-5 before, now 1-6. You get a Pyromancer with global gold, but there's a big rotation coming from Overlords right now. Loki Duke in a lot of trouble right now. DetachedData doing as much as he can. Dashes towards Rebel. Freaky with a great ult. Loki Duke, I'm a monster for the movement speed. CuddlyOso with a big bomb. Oh my god!
That's him away.
Bomb into the grave. Wabhi Sahbi in a lot of trouble as well. Ayyfoo's coming from the back. It's a big Fearless. No, it's not. The end Chile actually procs the silence. DetachedData in a lot of trouble now. Rooted dashes away. Looks like he might get away. Rebel King comes around. Ayyfoo doing his best to try to get out of the situation, and now tier 2 towers in trouble. The amount of structure damage that Soul and Hachi with the flag have is ridiculous.
That Hachi too just giving them so much attack speed, and they're just going on. But man, I cannot get over how hard he just got slapped with that bird bomb for.
That's
my man
literally what we
dunked
were
it
saying.
over the wall and just deleted him, sent him to the next lobby. That was crazy. And then Soul just holding left click, doing so much damage.
Yeah.
13k, topping out the charts, and it's not even close.
Yeah, and it looks like just from the scoreboard alone that Overlord's main tanks are because of Cuddly and Poly, but in reality, the two MVPs here are Rebel and Freaky. I mean, they're doing a really great job, especially Rebel. You wouldn't know it just by knowing, but Rebel is a free agent. He literally just got picked up from the set, and he looks like he's been playing with Overlords since he was drafted in draft phase. He's looking excellent on the Xing Chen. He picks up the Pridwin for more aggressiveness. Maybe he's looking towards a Pestilence next to shut down the anti-healing from Tyr and Najah, which I think is an excellent idea. But Rebel's doing a really great job right now. Look at the bottom of the player damage. You have Scylla, who's barely done 3k. I mean, Luke the Duke is getting absolutely shut out this game.
He has not had room to breathe, and I will also sing the praises of Rebel King with you. He's found some fantastic ults here to force out some kills, and he's also just creating a lot of space, peeling out a lot. I mean, he's pretty much taking the aggressive role. There has been nothing to peel. They are going all dive, and he is doing great with it, making sure that he's getting in there and causing as much CC as he possibly can. His Fire Giant's just going to get started up.
This is a big misplay from BananaClan. They see this. Rebel King communicated to his team that Scylla backed, and now Fire Giant's getting started. DetachedData doing as much as he can, but is not able to get it. Great peel coming from that. The microwave comes out. DetachedData almost at 40% health. Does get slowed by the mounted archery from Freaky. Freaky does use the beats to stop Ayyfoo. Ayyfoo gets melted from the solo. The taunt for Wabhi Sahbi is big. I'm a monster coming up from Luke the Duke. Does only find Lone Wolf, and it barely does anything. The Nishal comes out from UndrclasHero. He passes away. God rest the troops. And now they're going towards the mid Phoenix. And it just feels like this is exactly what I was talking about with this Najah. This is what we were talking about before. Najah just can't do anything into this comp. It's too safe. And if Overlords commit first, this Najah's gonna get fragged.
Absolutely, and the only targets that Najah is able to find with his Windfire Rules are tanky frontliners, and what does that do? Take them out of the fight for a couple seconds? Sure, I guess, but you're dead upon landing. You're not hurting them. You're not doing any damage, so he's just getting obliterated, and exactly what we wanted to see from Overlords from this comp. They're just running them down, and what can BananaClan do about it? They're caught in a box. BananaClan excels in trying to get picks and get ahead and just essentially start off a fight by insta-killing one person and winning in a 4v5, but that's just not happening. They are just getting ran at. Odin now deciding to go into some tankiness, so we see the true triple front line coming in there as he does get a breastplate of valor. That's
Look
a
at that.
12k
Oh,
gold lead. Look at
12K
those
in 22 minutes.
charts.
Oh my
That
god. Ouch.
is,
Zoinks.
at this point, if you're on Banana Clan, you're looking to farm when you can, and they're just at some point they just have to Hail Mary. There's nothing that
Yeah.
even if they play a fight pretty much perfectly, they're so far behind that they probably won't win it anyway. They have to just hope Overlord makes some grave mistake that they can capitalize on it. But at this point, they're just never winning a fight. They have to just go for something here. Probably a Phoenix defense, more than likely. They're just going to have to commit everything and hope they can get this deicide and bring them back into the game, because as it's going, this is looking suffocating.
And unfortunately, I really think that Luke the Duke played excellently in game 1, but I really feel like this is definitely a mid-diff coming in from Polydeuces. Polydeuces says, no, you're not doing that again. There's no way you're going to frag me like that again. And you know what? I'm a hater for CuddlyOso's build, but they're doing a lot of work right now as they're trying to siege up this, right? Phoenix CuddlyOso does blink in, gets the wall. UndrclasHero getting really fragged right now, has to use no relics at all. Uses his Aegis, and they get the Phoenix, and that's just the end of that. A very clean engage onto it. The Fire Giant's gonna go down in maybe like 30 seconds right now. Ayyfoo's trying to go in. The I'm a Monster comes out. Ayyfoo does manage to get both the backliners fearless. And there is a lot of damage going down right now. This actually might be a big fight for Banana Clan. Rebel King does manage to get UndrclasHero. DetachedData in a lot of trouble right now. Soul does manage to frag him out. Wabhi Sahbi getting kind of bullied by CuddlyOso. CuddlyOso nothing actually, does die to the crush, but the mid Phoenix does go down. I mean, unfortunately, 2 members from Overlords died, but they do get 2 Phoenixes. I mean, it's not the worst thing. By the time they spawn, Fire Giants is still going to be up. They still have Fire Giants on their waist. Maybe the best Banana Clan can do is get this Gold Fury.
I guess they can have to look for this Gold Fury. If that, I'm not even sure what I'm doing with them then. Like, I guess you can't really contest fire. I mean, maybe you can show face, try to get like a I'm a Monster over the wall and steal it, but surely showing up the FG just means certain death and is going to go into a loss. And speaking of Scylla and I'm a Monster specifically, in that fight right there, Luke the Duke does manage to hit an I'm a Monster on top of Lone Wolf, but that hit like a wet paper towel. That did nothing.
Did nothing.
My man ate that raid in the chest and did not care whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of options here for Banana Clan. We're really just hoping to see some sort of miracle come out, but with 2 Phoenixes down, this is looking scary and scarier by the second. FG's going to be up within the next 30 seconds or so, and I can't imagine Banana Clan does anything about this. They probably just have to give it up and really hope for a good defense on their last Phoenix. All in here, and hopefully some massive Dharmic Pillar or I'm the Monster comes out and can create.
DetachedData very much so alone right now. Does manage to dash out. CuddlyOso does get a great stun onto it. The Phantom does come out from DetachedData. The Microwave also comes out. Procs the Pridwin as well. Does manage to live. The Sikkim does get Rebel King, but he manages to get out. The one benefit I could say is this is an enhanced fire, but it looks like they're actually making face for this right now. Ayyfoo's looking around. I mean,
they're face checking it a little bit, but there's just no way.
Ayyfoo's looking right now. He's getting the ult in. He's looking
for the Hail Mary,
and he doesn't get it. So close from Ayyfoo, but I feel like you have to respect it. I like the call from Ayyfoo.
Yeah, you gotta go for something.
Gotta try it. You gotta try it.
And realistically, this should just be it for them. Donald's gonna get back, but this is a 5v4. Golden levels are not even in the same ballpark right now. They're just gonna run this down, and this Titan will not be able to survive.
Yeah, I
3 ults still up. Pretty much every relic on the field available for Overlords. They're gonna Odin Cage this, and
big damage coming from Polydeuce. He might be going down, but the Titan is so low already. Unfortunately, that's the end of that. Is Overlords. I mean, we were singing the praises of Overlords draft, and Overlords performed their draft exceptionally well. I feel like even with the fact that Ayyfoo had to play at a deficit, our Switchlight Pro gamer played pretty well for what he had, and I don't really think that his DC in the beginning was the catastrophic loss for Banana Clan. I feel like the Najah didn't perform well. I feel like the Scylla was basically obsolete because of the fact that Soul could run the map. And truly, I really mean this by the bottom of my heart. Holy crap, that Xing Shen actually, like, what an incredible performance by him. What an incredible performance.
Absolutely. And I'm going to lose my mind if I do not see a Soul ban after that, because not to point out the obvious, but 11-0-8, 21k player damage. The only person even close to him being Odin at about 5k behind. That just did too much. And as you said, that Jing 10 also, he did fantastic. I want to mention he brought that Talisman of Energy fantastic for the dive. They were running at them anyway. You might as well make everybody speedy, catch up to them, and W key them. The flash lines say most of it. I mean, there was they just couldn't find anything on Banana Clan's side. They just got stuffed. They got stifled. There was not a ton that they were able to really accomplish. As you said, for Ayyfoo, he's only 500 damage behind, and he didn't show up until like minute 3.5. That's pretty good.
He actually had a good performance. Like it wasn't that bad from him. But unfortunately, so now we know two things from the set. There's two things that we need to know. One, do not give Polyjuice his soul. Two, do not give Luke the Duke Tiamat. Because now, if we let either one, or give them both, and let's just see how it goes.
Honestly, perfect world. Everybody pass their bans out. Give everybody their priority picks. Let's see a slapper of a game 3. That would be the absolute best. But let's absolutely do the salty run back. Everybody get what they want. Let's do it. No picks and bans. Let's just go blind pick. Get them in there.
Just put them in assault. Just let them go in assault. Let them figure it out.
Let them. I want to see an arena game here. No, but in an actual sense, I mean, game 1's a stomp on the side of Banana Clan. Game 2's a stomp on the side of Overlords. Hopefully we get a really good close game 3 here.
Yeah.
Assuming the Soul gets banned out, the Tiamat gets banned out, both teams will be without their huge priority picks. Also, if we're going into game 3, and I see that jungle build again, please, Banana Can, punish it, because my man should not have been able to accomplish the things he accomplished with that Odin build. That was just not okay.
At the end of the day, though, I kind of respect the Odin build. You know what I mean? I'm a hater, but I saw the win, I saw the dub. I'm a little converted right now. I mean, don't do it, but don't do it in my games, but you know, you can do it here.
Absolutely, no, nothing. I have nothing but respect in my heart for that build. Like it, absolutely, that has to have been the most alpha build I've seen in a long, long time. Just also, if I'm coaching you, please don't do it.
Please don't do it.
Please don't do it. I mean, I respect it to the ends of the earth, but my man, get me running.
I think that both games have been dictated by picks and bans. Like, I think game 1, Overlord simply got outdrafted. Game 2, Banana Clan simply got outdrafted. I hope that both teams realize their weaknesses from each game and their strengths and create a much more competitive draft, because, you know, giving them Soul is just not an option now. Giving them Tiamat is not an option. I really hope we see these bans. And now that, you know, if Tia and Soul are going to be banned, who's going to pick up the pedestal for each teams? You know, like the Scylla was not even there in the early mid. It did do some good job in the late, but it was, again, it's just too late. The lead deficit was too much. Who's going to pick up the mantle for the mid laners if they can't create this ginormous pace that they did? And I'm hoping to see that from the junglers, because both junglers in their respective games, they had good games, but it seemed to be that when the junglers are so dependent on mid snowball, and that's a problem, because junglers should not be dependent on mid snowball. Junglers should be dependent on their own individual snowball to their own individual playstyle, because a jungler can be a farming jungle, he could be a ganking jungle, an invade jungle. accordance to that. I want to see their own individual playstyles pop out more. I want to see that. Now,
if we go into picks and bans, I mean, the two obvious ones should be off the table right away. We don't see Soul, we don't see T-Man. I'm not even going to play with the idea that either of them get through. I think those are just gone. Yep, right away.
good.
Out of the board. Now,
Good. Thank God. Thank
both
God.
of these have been one for stomping. So I feel like one of two things is going to happen. Either one of the teams is going to go for something that can deal with the pressure, maybe a later end sort of team that just wins out in team fights in the end. Or what I kind of secretly is hoping is going to happen is both teams draft these high pressure, go in and they just butt heads like two bulls ramming into each other, just trying to see who can win out in these pressure wars. And as you said, someone's going to have to take up the mantle here. And honestly, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't even come through mid. I'm kind of hoping we see someone on one of the side lanes here pop off and really make something happen. To CuddlyOso's extent, though, he did gank over on the duo side a couple of times, so he wasn't 100% mid dependent, but mids have ran the game both games so far. Hopefully somebody else can take this up and really cause some just absolute dominance over in one of the side lanes, and we can see something for that as we see the Raijin get hovered. And
that's a good pick. I like that immediately. It's different than the Scylla. It's a lot more early pressure. I really like the Raijin lock in here, but I feel like Overlords now, they have a lot to choose from. I mean, you have your choice of supports, you have your choice of ADCs. I mean, Freaky had an excellent performance on the Hachiman, but maybe we look for something that can give him a bit more pressure. Maybe we look again for the Xingqian or the Odin. I mean, it seems to be that Odin is very highly prioritized. I think they should. There's the Xingqian lock in. I think they should immediately lock in Odin, but they don't. They lock in Hachi for Freaky.
I mean, clearly this is a comfort thing for him. He must have been feeling really, really good into the game one. And to be fair, he did have a pretty solid game overall, but I do have to agree with you that Odin brought them a lot in that game. Even though the build was a little wild, it was a little out there, he definitely brought a lot of mid pressure, he brought a lot of duo pressure, those cagers finding huge things in team fights, but the Chiron coming out from the left side, this has been banned, I believe, in both games, and we finally get to see it shine in the light of day, and also the SWK
there it is.
So well.
That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see.
Odin lock in. See, both of these teams are getting good picks now. Chiron was banned out, unable to be picked up. SWK got banned out in the second game after a really good performance. This is the exciting game for you like to see. You see bits and pieces of what made the success in the stomps on both teams now. And now we really get to see with both teams getting these favorable comps that they're both liking, who's going to come out on top with these picks that they enjoy.
Scylla ban. Wow, that's interesting. Just status update.
Yeah, status update. Jolly Green has returned for Overlords, so I will give a shout out once again to my man Were King. Fantastic job, came in,
Rebel King,
out.
go.
Rebel King, my bad. My apologies. Rebel King
showed up. Rebel King
showed up, fragged out, did his thing, and then dips out. True, true legend right there.
It did excellent, and it looks like the Merlin hover here. Now, what's interesting is that the Banana Clan has picked Danzaburo 2 times in a row in these games, and now they deviate towards this Chiron against the Hachiman, which I really like. I think Chiron is an excellent hunter, great early pressure against the Xingqian and the Hachiman, especially because if you think if Banana Clan's ADC is accurate enough, he can stop the washing machine from Xingqian and from the Chiron cleanse. So it's very interesting to see this. I like the Chiron pick a lot. I think Merlin is an all-around excellent pick. I think that it does well into the Raijin, and it doesn't have that same early pressure that Raijin has, but I think has the same great mid and late pressure that Raijin has. But now that we're exiting the draft, Banana Clan's now going to look for a support, and they're going to look for a jungler. And a support, everything is open. Sobek, Ymir, Yamoja, Khepri even, if they want to go for the Khepri again, which looked great, mind you. And if they pick Khepri, now then they're forced to pick the Thanatos, or if they want to pick the Thanatos, which did not perform very well game one. So my prediction is going to be, I think, a Tsukiyomi and a Khepri. That's my prediction. Fuck!
Ooh. But instead, they hit.
Oh, I mean, darn.
But instead, it's the Sobek locked in, almost instantaneously. But still, I mean, when you
I mean,
see
so
these, when you see these
whoa,
high
hold
rank games,
on.
especially in Odin a lot, in Odin division, you see Sobek sometimes even banned in the top 3
Yeah.
and picked a lot. So this is a really good pick. I mean, Sobek, right? I mean, you get unlimited lane pressure
Whoa.
for free just by clicking one. I mean, a pluck is always going to do that. But a Mulan, that's some spice
Milan
right there.
jungle. Mulan.
That is some spice right
Milan.
there.
I've been singing the praises of this guy. I think Milan is crazy. I think she's very strong in the early game. I think she's excellent. And again, Overlord, we have the Odin jungle. I think Milan. I think people diss the Milan too much. I think Milan actually has some pretty decent ability to actually win games here. Like, I don't know. I've always been a lover of the Milan. I think Milan support is bad but fun. I think Milan solo is bad but fun. And I've never seen Milan jungle personally. So I'm curious to see how this works out for Underclass. But he is against CuddlyOso again.
So, Underclass, if you can hear me, run it down.
Yeah,
Get in
run
there
it.
with Milan,
Run it.
because if
Int.
you're not doing crazy stuff late game, you have some crazy pressure, especially when you hit that level 5 with that ult. You need to be everywhere. You need to be W keying. You have base protections that make you feel tanky, and your early base damage is kind of insane. You're gonna have to build hybrid just because full damage Milan is immensely troll and it will get you killed 24/7. However, that early game base damage really just does that much. It can cause some early chaos here, and that's what I'm looking to see out of this team. I see a Sobek, I see a Milan, I see a Chiron.
Yeah.
I want to see some pressure coming out here,
There's
especially on
yeah.
this dual lane side, actually. I think if Milan can get in there early and get this Chiron Sobek ahead, it might just be a wrap right then and there, because Sobek becomes just this nearly unkillable force of nature where he just keeps plucking and he keeps plucking and he keeps slowing and he keeps displacing.
And I think Milan actually has a very secret good matchup into the Merlin, because the 3 from Milan, the bow, can actually catch out the flicker very simply, actually, if you can predict it well enough. I think it actually has a little bit of a secret matchup here. And with CuddlyOso's build that we saw, with them not getting Eye of the Jungle or them not getting Booba's Hammer, it if UndrclasHero can manage to get first blood or manage to get mid pressure, this could actually be really huge. But I am concerned because the King Arthur comes out. It is a very good pick. It can run games. I mean, I have no doubts that Ayyfoo is going to run. That Ayyfoo, now with the ability to come back in a game, start with this team, can really bully out this King Arthur. But it feels like Overlords are kind of almost running it back. Almost, it feels very familiar. Like, you can almost feel them saying, "Okay, we saw what found us success. Let's do it again." But with the Soul instead of the Merlin, it's good, but it's different. It's just they have to make sure that they're attuned just a little bit. Yeah,
much more late game focused. Merlin does do things late game, absolutely. Just shreds and eviscerates for everything late game. If my man's allowed to free cast in a late game, that fight is pretty much over. And when I look over on the side of Banana Clans, as I said already, I want Milan to get in there. I want her to do stuff early, but I want to see it in the side lanes. I think personally, out of every warrior I've played lately, King Arthur, especially after the nerfs, feels terrible from behind. That god feels like he can accomplish nothing when he's at a deficit. And also on the flip end of that, I think Chiron and Sobek are both super good from ahead. So if he's able to get pressure in and shut down one of these side lanes, Banana Clan might be able to just destroy them throughout the entirety of this. However, I will say when I'm looking at team fights here, I do have to give my favorite over on the side of Overlords.
yeah,
They have the
to
Odin
agree.
Jingpen again, and then on top of that, with those big circles, while it's not necessarily the exact same thing as Soul, when you get late game with that Merlin, he is able to do a lot based off that Odin and Jing 10 CC. King Arthur will do his thing in lane. He'll most likely win it, unless we do see some pressure over there or some really good play by Ayyfoo here. Hachiman's just going to do Hachiman things. He's going to be safe. He probably won't die a lot. He'll get late game and he'll hold left click, as hunters tend to do. So if I'm Banana, I'm looking for pressure on the side lanes. If I'm Overlords, I mean, you can look for pressure if it's available, but honestly, I'm just liking my chances going into this late game. That is a pretty ridiculous comp with the Jing 10, Odin, Merlin. That late game looks terrifying to me.
Yeah, I think what we were talking about a little bit before, where mids can no longer really push this agenda of controlling the pace. I think that if there's one character that might be able to push extreme amount of pressure early game, it should be this Milan. As you know, we sort of pivot towards the builds. CuddlyOso again going for the master, Milan going for Eye of the Jungle, which I like. Raijin doing their Warlock staff build that they did game one. Luke the Duke kind of did that very well. And it seemed, sort of very traditional starts that we saw from game one before. No mass starts for the solo laners. And I think this won't work for CuddlyOso. I think that UndrclasHero might understand, okay, I understand that I didn't int as hard as I needed to before. This time, I'm going to int as Milan. And I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Warlock staff is almost like a double-edged sword. It definitely, when it's evolved, it feels good. And honestly, I feel like the stat that feels the best on Warlock staff has to be that health. It just makes you feel harder and harder to kill. And when you're a Raijin going into that big ultimate, it feels good to not be able to get burst down. But
Ayyfoo looking for Lone Wolf right now.
A lot of early pressure over in that solo lane. But I was saying with the Warlocks, but it's 100 stacks. That thing takes forever to get online. And I think Raijin just wins that early matchup with the Merlin, so I almost would have rather seen it like a Vamp Shroud into maybe like a Typhons or a Vamp Shroud into a Flat Pen, something like that to get him that.
Lone Wolf.
Ayyfoo just going in.
Our Switch-like gamer getting it, and now there's a lot of trouble in mid lane as well as Luke manages to get CuddlyOso. Man, they, Banana Clan says, no, you're not doing this again. DetachedData gets a good pluck onto Jolly Green. Jolly Green's at half health. There's a dash in from wabhi, does knock away Jolly Green. Jolly Green reduces the basic attack damage. Freaky kind of looking at wabhi right now, isn't able to get it. DetachedData now kind of alone as wabhi's almost in the red, now in the red for sure. Freaky with a good flag, and this is it. This is the attack.
This is what you want to see from Banana Clan. This is exactly what you want to see.
Mispluck from DetachedData does manage to get around.
The early Milan rotation. It gets freaky.
Luke the Duke's looking towards Jolly Green right now. Does not take a tower shot right now, and that's a great start from Banana Clan. This is exactly what we wanted. Now Lone Wolf is in a lot of trouble as well. He might die to minions here. He's losing a lot of health. Ayyfoo gets it. Again, another solo kill. Our Switch-like gamer right now, just fragging his eyes and brains out. This is a great start for Banana Clan, and let us pray.
Coming in with a vengeance. He goes, no. What happened in solo lane? That was all the DC. This is what happens when I'm here and I'm ready.
Now Polly's in a lot of trouble. Does use the beats, but they don't time the CC well enough. They don't time their CC. They go for pluck and bow at the same time, and Merlin's able to get out with the beats because there's a little bit of lack of communication there. Now Ayyfoo is looking for the blue buff steal. It's like, I feel bad for our spectator Ducky because he's getting whiplash going from lane to lane to lane because there's just pressure coming up from Banana Clan everywhere.
Absolutely. This is exactly what I wanted to see from Banana Clan. They are running it down. Ayyfoo coming in with a vengeance, running a clinic over here. Luke the Duke with the early kill on top of he's going for the Warlock staff, so getting early pressure when you have a stacking item like that, that's going to feel even better. This is just going great for them. Milan showing early presence both in mid and in dual lane. Already 1-0-1. And CuddlyOso not really doing himself any favor by not having sustain in the jungle again. It worked last time when he was super far ahead, but is it going to work from behind, being unable to farm effectively? He got most of his XP essentially from killing people. But with an early deficit here, and the inability to farm for the sustain, I'm not so sure that's going to turn out as well this time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I hope we see UndrclasHero maybe look for the Crusher here, because I think Crusher on Milan is a very excellent pickup, but she probably will get the Jotuns Wrath. There's a lot of pressure coming out from solo lane right now. I would like to see Underclass maybe look for a rotation onto Lone Wolf, just to carry that out. I mean, now we see Underclass hit level 5. Luke the Duke looking towards Polly. If he didn't have enough mana for that flicker, he might have died with the Reginald. Now, CuddlyOso's in a bad spot. Doesn't have any sustain. The ring comes out. Luke the Duke putting out the Taiko drums. Does find all 3 snipes from the Taiko drums, and Luke the Duke says, no. I'm repeating game 1. I'm repeating game 1. This is for sure. We are not a 0-3 team. There's a huge lead is building for Banana Clan. Almost 1,700 gold now for Banana Clan as they're approaching it. The totems are all going to Ayyfoo. Solo pressure is massive. But there is some positive. I mean, Polydeuce is a level ahead of Luke the Duke despite the 2 kills, but you know, there has to be some sort of mid pressure coming out from CuddlyOso, which I don't think is possible. Now, Data getting a pluck onto Freaky, which unfortunately finds nothing. But I just don't think that with this Odin, which is now building into what seems to be a Breastplate of Valor, there's just not going to be enough damage coming from Overlords. I think this is a really bad pivot for CuddlyOso.
Absolutely, and let me tell you, I was saying at the beginning of the game, out of all the warriors that I've played lately, I think King Arthur feels the worst from behind, and he is now at a 3-level deficit. He got his blue buff invaded twice in a row now. He is getting suffocated. I'm looking for Ayyfoo to get a rotation here sometime within the next few minutes, especially if they can drop that Gold Fury Scorp and see him there, because he is going to be a raid boss when he rotates. There is nothing that they can do to really shut this man down. And we do have the Leather Cowl Ickable Rush onto that, which is a little bit different from Chiron. Most of the time you are seeing the Bluestone out of Chiron to get that early ability base, but my man just wants to box with them autos, which I don't necessarily disagree. I think the Leather Cowl Ickable is just super strong right now, and pretty much makes it impossible to box in lane, but definitely a different look from the normal Bluestone that you tend to see over there with that Chiron in the dual lane.
Finally, Ayyfoo back in, getting the Soul Looter, just straight out buying it. Now there's a lot of pressure coming out of mid. Jolly Green might be in a bit of trouble. The Taiko drums do come out. Jolly might be in a little bit of trouble. Does not use the dishwasher. There is an up-down from Luke the Duke as CuddlyOso does not look for anything. Is a little low on mana. Does find the blink and the cage. Now that Luke the Duke might be in a bit of trouble, the whirlwind does come out. And Luke the Duke just managed to walk away. Polydeuce is in a lot of trouble now. UndrclasHero does find Jolly Green. CuddlyOso is just literally one shot so close. And Luke the Duke does not come out.
DetachedData and UndrclasHero did fantastic there. Luke the Duke got full committed on, but Lone Wolf actually making a rotation here out early.
Does find, oh my god, does find the...
Right before the dash goes off.
Right before the dash comes off, Lone Wolf is now chasing. He might have enough damage if he can hit the 1. Oh, just barely tickles him. I don't even know if he's upgrading the 1. Ayyfoo's there around.
He is, but I think that's just a level 7 effect right there. I don't think he's hurting.
Oh, big bird bomb coming from CuddlyOso does find the gank at the Ayyfoo, but I don't think they can kill Ayyfoo with the ult still around. Jolly Green looking around as much as he can. Ayyfoo is actually very low right now, but there's a little bit of miscommunication on who's the target right now. Well, we switch our attention to dual lane as, you know, everything seems to be typical and normal. Banana Clan's jungler is now invading the enemy blue and is just chilling around right side.
A little terrified of CuddlyOso's build. He looks like he's got Gilgamesh passive activated or something. Now, I get it. I get it. I think he was going into defense, and then he probably was literally that Luke the Duke when he went and blinked in and got the thing, and he wasn't able to kill him. And he's like, man, I don't have enough damage here. I really need to get some damage. But 2 T1s, he's gonna be feeling terrible.
Yeah, and
he's got a T1 breastplate and a T1 mace. That's not good. So until he gets one of those into a tier 3, it's not feeling good. I think you just have to commit one way or the other. I agree. You got the breastplate first. Even though, yes, it sucks, you blink in, you go on Luke, he doesn't die. You still just have to commit to the breastplate. Because now that's a lot of gold and you're not getting a lot of value out of that. He's just not going to be feeling good, especially he already doesn't have that sustain. That's going to be looking really rough.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, a secret pick that I just realized is this Sobek. You know, when CuddlyOso jumps in, Sobek, all he has to do is press 2, and it just negates all the just negates the bird bomb from CuddlyOso. I mean, it's a good pick as there is a bit of damage in mid. Jolly Green does go down to UndrclasHero's ult and the Taiko drums now that they're in the ult. CuddlyOso does go up, down, doesn't find any damage whatsoever, and there's a pluck onto the Merlin, who is still fine, and it's not out of position. There's a double knock through. Freaky, with the mounted archery, looking at someone going towards the support right now on Data, does find it. Good job for CuddlyOso, as now maybe they're looking towards ganking the Raijin, but not quite. Ayyfoo's around, knocks up everyone, and that's just the end of that engagement. But Wabi-Sabi getting a good split push going on right now as Ayyfoo gets stunned up by the King Arthur, and CuddlyOso unfortunately missing his stun, and they're just gonna trade tier 1 towers. But now Lone Wolf is in a lot of trouble with UndrclasHero here. There's a lot of damage coming out on Ayyfoo, but he managed to get in the ult. UndrclasHero is still trying to end. Jolly Green is trying to peel for Freaky as much as he can, and yeah, that's it. I mean,
I'm gonna give credit where it's due. UndrclasHero putting in work on this Milan. He is
4-0.
really pressure to its limits. I mean, he's had 2 really big ults and mids and some big knockups that's causing a lot of pressure here. Now they have great mid 3v3 potential, and Gold Fury's completely on the map right now. Ayyfoo's rotating. I don't think that Overlords can win this fight. They're down a little bit too deep. This might just be a free Gold Fury, but we'll see how this goes, as Overlords is going to start peeking over the corners and knows that this is going on.
Jalil looked like he was looking, but he turns around and starts going the other way. He starts jumping in. The Gold Fury is a little low right now. Uses the washing machine. It's very low right now. Overlords do manage to steal it. And now there's a big fight going on. Ayyfoo's in a lot of trouble right now with no ult. He does go down, and that's huge for Overlords right now. Killing out Ayyfoo and stealing the gold.
That's take the biggest person on top of Banana Class team, kill him, and get that objective out. That was really good, and that was great by Jolly Green to get in there and just get a big washing machine. It put a lot of disruption onto the backline of Bananakin, and they just weren't able to secure the way they want to. And that's one of the problems. That's Raijin's biggest problem.
Wabi-Sabi going on to Freaky, looking for anything. Freaky getting the beats, just finding enough mana for the mounted archery, and unfortunately, that's it. Maybe if Wabi hit the first basic, he might have been able to get something, but just a little slow on it, and unfortunately that's that. As now there's more aggression.
But there is some aggression over on this blue bot.
UndrclasHero with the ult, looking at CuddlyOso right now. Look at the side, look, the Duke's on his way as well. CuddlyOso has to run away, blinks out, but you know, look, the Duke's gonna chase that. Looking for CuddlyOso right now, doesn't manage to get anything. He negates that kills, while Ayyfoo is screaming at him to go into Lone Wolf right now. Lone Wolf does manage to get out. Here comes Polydeuces to the side as well. Sobek's trying to take out Jolly Green right now, and there's a little bit of a grouping coming out for Red. Well, DetachedData is alone, but here comes Luke the Duke as well, doing as much damage as he can, and it's kind of a split fight right there.
Yeah, a little bit rough on the target selection. I feel like if they were to just go on Lone Wolf from the beginning, he probably just ends up falling there. But also, great job by Underclass. I mean, he was 2v1ing for a while, and he made it look convincing. He almost took out CuddlyOso in the straight 2v1.
Yeah, I agree. And Frankie getting sniped down by the Chiron right now. All 3 snipes connecting. Wabi-Sabi smelling blood in the water right now, trying his best to catch up to Freaky, but I mean, I don't really think there's a possibility of that. Never mind, as Wabi-Sabi does manage to close the distance on the Freaky. Does find a lot of damage. Is getting really good damage in, but the Raijin's coming in. And, oh, the Sobek does manage to get Freaky, but how clean is Wabi-Sabi going to be able to get out of here now? Jolly Green going for the dishwasher. Does get Wabi-Sabi's ult. Data managing to get Polydeuces out of the fight, and that's just an ADC kill. That's a goodie. That's a goodie.
Sure. They pretty much got the solo kill on there. CuddlyOso is going to get his ult forced out.
UndrclasHero might be in a little bit of trouble right now, taking a good amount of damage from the Merlin, but that's just unfortunate, you know? There's just nothing really coming out of these. It's just a lot of scrapping, but no really big, huge commit coming from that Jolly Green, taking a little bit of damage from the Raijin. And unfortunately, that's nothing left.
Yeah, big grouping in mid, but I can't imagine a lot's going to come out of it. Maybe I'm wrong, as DetachedData is looking a little bit up there, but
yeah,
they're kind of just floating around, staring at each other.
Yeah, Freaky's looking around right now. I think DetachedData is maybe looking for a pluck, but Overlords does manage to get the pluck out to Odin. Odin taking a lot of damage right now. Doesn't use the ult. Does go down. They trade jungler for support. A good trade that favors the Overlords right now, but what else can they find? Luke the Duke is in a lot of trouble right now. Freaky getting a kill, but Luke the Duke managing to self-heal for himself. Polly smells blood as well, but trying his best to catch Luke the Duke, but can they catch that big monkey as Ayyfoo gets Freaky? There's a separation, and unfortunately, Polyjuice sees red in his eyes and leaves his team, which unfortunately allows Freaky to die, which seemed like a great start for Overlord's fight. Is turned. I mean, they get a 3, like BananaClan get a 3 for 2.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of lack of patience over on Polyjuice's side. I mean, we've all been there. We see someone 1 HP on the side running away, and we really want to chase those. But I do think if he shows a bit more restraint and just goes back to that mid fight, not only does Ayyfoo not pick up a kill there, but he probably falls himself, or there at least forces them to retreat.
Yep.
But I mean, a pretty interesting start to that fight. I mean, both teams kind of just staring at each other, testing out, see what's going to happen, and then I mean, both teams probably felt good on their engage. CuddlyOso leaps in, and then right away, DetachedData throws him back, and both of them get blown up, and then it's just chaos from there. Both of them getting in as hard as they possibly can, but just a good by BananaClan coming out a little bit ahead there.
Yeah, I feel like once BananaClan really starts, once this BananaClan gets their next item, I mean, Raijin with the spear, the Magus, you're gonna have it on Chile probably for Underclass. This next power spike for BananaClan is massive for them. I mean, sure, you're still getting some. There's actually some aggression coming up in mid lane right now. There's a blink from Sobek, but doesn't find anything. CuddlyOso does have his ult to try to get away from Ayyfoo and is successful, but now there's pressure on the Pyromancer as Mulan and Sumokong are looking to move towards it, and they're starting it right now. DetachedData.
Like that'll go down relatively free, as I don't even think that Overlords is aware that this is happening, which is really good. Oh, they're gonna make a small rotation in, but there's not much they can do about that. They do get the tower on the right side in return here, but it looks like they're grouping up to go for that Oni Fury, which is a fantastic play. Everybody on Overlords is right.
I don't know if they can do. I mean, if Overlords manage to sniff this out, maybe they could start the Fire Giant. I mean, it's a risky call, but all of them except for Ayyfoo is there, and that's what they're starting to do. Looks like they're looking towards. This could be a really scary fight. Ayyfoo, our Switchlight Warrior, has to get something. BananaClan does manage to get it, but I mean, look at the Fire's health. It's 60% right now. Freaky's in a lot of trouble right now. Almost goes down. The dishwasher comes out to speak out Freaky, and here comes the ginormous death ball.
The cavalry coming in. It's half HP.
They're still engaging on it. They're all gonna die. They're all gonna die. Luke the Duke dashes in, uses a bunch of his damage. The Odin cage comes down. Luke the Duke gets CuddlyOso. There's so much damage coming out right now. There's a huge misplay coming out from the Overlords right now. And pick up the Fire Giant. I mean, a huge misplay from Overlords. Huge misplay.
Massive shout out to Ayyfoo. He says, no, I'm not going to 5-man on this Gold Fury. I'm going to go over to the Fire Giant, make sure they don't try to get that in return. And he does exactly what he needs to do. He goes on top of Freaky G, gets him out of that fight, and then Overlord's just being a little stubborn, trying to stay on that objective for too long. But Ayyfoo caused way too much damage. Fire Giant was taking them down. They also had to deal with the SWK. And they were just low, they had to go, and by the time the rest of the BananaClan rolled up, it was just certain death.
Yeah.
Luke the Duke pumping out insane amounts of damage there.
And what's really weird about that call is usually you make those kind of calls when you're very far behind. But truly, Overlords was not that far behind. It was kind of just a weird call because maybe they just overestimated how behind they were. Freaky trying to split push this tier 1, but you could see a large rotation left towards that tier 2 one left for them, as Freaky has the back for the uncertainty that BananaClan could collapse onto him.
So, I like the initial idea, right? You know they're all going to Golden Fury, and you know that you probably can't contest that, so pull the FG, but actually I'm not going to get much from the talk of DetachedData.
Yeah, DetachedData is in a little bit of trouble right now, as there is a wabi-sabi trying to get a peel going on right now. The Under the Waters comes out for the Sobek, giving him a little extra mitigations, but I mean, he's still alive, he's still in it. Lone Wolf is still chasing a good stun onto him. Osu trying his best to come in. The Windwasher comes out too. Data is still alive, still kicking it. and now finally goes down, but at what cost? CuddlyOso super low. Here comes Luke the Duke. You know he's gonna dash in. You just know the Taiko drums are coming out as well. O2 doing his best. The Taiko drums do come out on the Polyjuice. Wabi-Sabi does manage to get Polyjuice. Another dash in. Wabi-Sabi does lone wolf, and the last remaining member on this fight is Jolly Green, as Freaky is trying to get his way, but it's too late, and Jolly Green does go down. Another overextension. They put in so much into Data, and Data, excellently played by him, stays alive for as long as he can. Wabi-Sabi gives him great peel, and man, that's just that should be a free Phoenix.
As you said, Data just stayed alive for so long, causing a huge bait. They just go so far for him, and by the time they get to that tower, the rest of the squadron's there. They goon squad on top of them, and there's just not a lot they can do about it. It's gonna be 4. That Phoenix should go down relatively free. And this is just looking great for Banana Clan. They are so far ahead, over 10k.
Yeah.
I think at this point they should just get the rest of their items that they need to get here. It's gonna be, they're just gonna back. They're gonna get all these items, lots of gold in the pocket, I imagine. And now when they group up, they can either look for another Phoenix. 4k gold on the Milan difference, and a lot of that, I mean, this is my last time. I'm only gonna harp on it one time. But you need a jungle item so you can farm, my man. You really do. Bluestone ain't gonna cut it. You don't have sustain in the jungle. 4k more gold from the Milan alone.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. This is gonna be hard for the Overlords, man. The Banana Clan looking really, really good going into this. They should just be primed and ready to get this next one. And also, keep in mind, left Phoenix, best Phoenix in the game. Someone's going to have to deal with those fire waves pulling in the left while they're pulling FG. This should almost be in the bag for Banana Clan unless Overlords pulled out something really special.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate because, you know, this Raijin is now able to just free cast his way. I mean, he's dashing in. He's using the Taiko drums. There's no strong dive coming from the Overlords right now because Lone Wolf is so behind. He's the second lowest level on his team right now as a solo laner, might I add. That's really, really bad. And the fact is that Odin can't dive because he's also so behind. Jing Chen needs to peel, and even if Jing Chen does manage to get into the diving, what is Jing Chen going to do? Ult Raijin ult? There's no way. What I would have liked to see, maybe an adaptation from Overlords, is put the Odin into solo and have a Robin jungle. But here we go. DetachedData looking for something. Doesn't commit to any pull. Look, the Duke managed to get some damage on CuddlyOso. Does 40% of his health with just a 2-1 as Freaky split pushing right now. And I think I like this call from Overlords. I would have liked preferably actually to see him keep pushing.
Freaky to keep pulling. Yeah,
I would have kept.
FG's probably just gone. I mean, they're pushing up the fire waves. I mean, it's still good. He went up to the left. He got the fire waves pushed out enough to where he can show face at this FG. I just can't see them winning that. I do also just want to sing praises of the draft from Banana Clan. Jing 10 not able to really pull anybody because Chiron and Raijin just ulted. Jing 10 ult's just useless. What does it do to them?
I'm sorry to. I'm sorry, but Jolly just back in front of Ayyfoo when fire spawned. This could be a big momentum shift for Banana Clan if they're able to just dive in, but here comes Jolly back in. Wabi-Sabi having an excellent performance on this Chiron right now. As there's a pluck towards Jolly Green. Jolly Green getting absolutely melted, more than half health. CuddlyOso trying to get in, but gets CC'd immediately as DetachedData and Ayyfoo's in the ring, but Ayyfoo manages to get out. Luke the Juke manages to come in. Here comes the Taiko drums coming out. Osu tries to live as long as he can, but can't. Ayyfoo, sorry, our Switchlight gamer trying his best to come in. Lone Wolf, level 14 still, is not able to even do anything, can't provide any peel, can't provide any damage, no dive, and now it's up to him and his own responsibility to try to steal this fire away. Now, the good news is if he can get in, there isn't the greatest objective melt from this team. I mean, no crit on the Chiron, but he's trying to come in. There's a stun coming from Ayyfoo. Lone Wolf spinning around.
Going for the hero play.
He's gone for the hero play. Can he get it? There's a stun coming from Underclass. A great bow, and that's just the end of that. Unfortunately, Lone Wolf gets stunned out, and
you're gonna see a reset, a pull right in the left to re-get that Phoenix, and man,
this is looking tough. This is a 99%er.
This is definitely a 99%er for Banana Clan. I said it from the beginning, his teleport from behind. He is level 14 at almost 24 minutes. That feels absolutely awful. He is about to be 6 levels down, I would imagine, by the time he's even able to get back up. 13,000 gold difference. They're just going to group up, do this primal, do the left, and as I said in the last game, they're going to do something similar. This is a Hail Mary. At this point, it's 99%er. You might as well just... Overlords is just going to have to wait. Probably not even on the first Phoenix. I don't even know if they can defend that. They probably gotta wait for the second Phoenix, but they're getting caught out in the left side.
Has to use mounted archery. Jolly Green getting taunted in. Jolly Green in a really bad spot right now. Uses the washer to try to get his way out. He pulls 4 people back. Excellently done by Jolly Green, but getting stunned in from the Milan. He should go down here. There's righteous damage. It's too much. Freaky already half health. Lone Wolf getting absolutely fragged right now. The Phantom comes down from Banana Clan as they're looking to pressure out this Phoenix. Freaky gets pulled in. No beats for Freaky as Underclass gets the kill. Lone Wolf now in a lot of trouble as well. Does go down. CuddlyOso does manage to get wabhi solving, but at what cost? Now CuddlyOso might be in a bit of trouble, but no, the team's looking at Polydeuce. The Merlin has overextended way too much here. He thought his whole team was behind, but he's dead. CuddlyOso jumps in as a last-ditch effort to heal, and that's the end of that.
Be the game.
Banana Clan finally get their first win in the standings. A 2-1 victory for Banana Clan and a great performance from
What
Luke.
a set that was. Banana Clan comes in hot and ready. Jolly Green's going to try his best here, but nothing he can do to stop what's going to happen here. But Banana Clan comes in immediately swinging, gets a really good game 1, and then Overlords gets a good uppercut, I guess. Stumbles them a little bit, makes them fall back in game 2, but right back to it in game 3, return to form. Man, and once again, Underclass making the Milan look fantastic. Luke the Duke also doing fantastic on that Raijin pick. Gotta give shout out to my man Wabi Sabi on that Chiron. He got a lot of cleanses on some big CCs that game.
He was doing crazy good work.
Just a great effort. Also, I said it in the beginning, but Ayyfoo just ran. He came back with a vengeance in that game 3 after the internet issues.
Yeah. That's our Switch Pro gamer. That's our Switch Pro gamer right there. Honestly, my MVP for the set goes to Ayyfoo. I mean, he absolutely fragged out game 1 and game 3. Luke the Duke, incredible performance. Literally everyone at Banana Clan had a great showing from each other. I mean, you got to respect Banana Clan here. I mean, you may think, oh, well, this or that. You may have doubts about this team, but they just showed that they're here to play. They're not here to goof around. And Overlords, game 2 was a great sign of life. I mean, unfortunately, they're going 0-4, but they did have moments of excellency. I mean, Polly and Freaky had moments of greatness in game 2 and also some great plays in game 3 and 1, but just can't close it out.
If I'm Overlords, I'm definitely trying to figure out what went so well game 2 and try to catch that lightning in a bottle. I thought their draft looked fantastic. Mind you, the draft on Banana Clan did look rather weak, but the draft was very, very solid. That triple front line did them really, really well, and they were able to do that. I mean, I still like the fact that they do opt for that triple front line again. Would like to see CuddlyOso put up that build a little bit. In all fairness, he did frag out on it game 2. I'm sure he figured with his performance in game 2, not much reason to change it. But a great effort going into both of these teams here. I mean, that was a really entertaining set to watch.
Yeah, I'm very happy we watched that one.
All throughout, I mean, good selection by my man Phoenix to make us watch that one. And yeah, what a set. That was great. Lot of life shown on both teams here. And some great plays shown throughout.
And I just want to give a shout out to Rebel King for subbing in game 2. You're the GOAT. Thank you so much for playing that. My name is Davey. It was a pleasure to cast for you all. I'm so happy that we got to cast for you. I hope to see you again another time.
Absolutely. I am Destin the Great, and obviously, as said, I'm joined here by Davey and also the goated cameraman, Ducky himself.
Our boy.
But thank you, everybody who tuned into the Valhalla, for watching. There will be many more sets to be played later today, so if you are looking to watch more gameplay, we will definitely be back momentarily with some more sets. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day.
You guys.